I feel like my hair makes me look lighter. It's given. I feel like I've been given like 90s R&B vibe all week. Since none of you wanted to say it because men don't know a damn thing. Anyways, good morning. Happy Friday, the 22nd of September. Welcome to TDA, the day after. Your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And let's introduce ourselves.
Morning. Big Marks on the east side. 6 foot plus of pure temptation. All that good stuff.
Nice. Your favorite shade queen, my royalty.
And they call me E-Man. The pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst, melanin jam-packed.
Love that.
What advice would you give to people who aren't morning people, Emmanuel? Change their diets? What is it? Go to sleep earlier?
I'll be honest with you, a part of me feels like it's just what the person is, you know? I don't know why, because I feel like I've always been this way.
What?
I've always been a morning
not
person.
A morning person.
Like a morning person. Well, I'm not a morning person. I am, of course I am. Yeah. I'm not a late person. I'm tired from like...
You're not a what?
A late person.
Oh, you mean you don't go to bed late? I was about to say... I know you fucking lying. Okay, I get you. Okay, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
You're not okay. I get you.
But maybe I guess the only logical thing I would say is maybe just get more sleep.
But I don't think it will ever be enough sleep.
Don't think so.
Because you're either a morning person, you're not a morning person.
That's what
but
I'm
I do
thinking.
believe that you can train your body to be a morning person though.
But
because who likes waking up early unprovoked? Your body is something that your body gets used to. Because when you fall out of that pattern, you have to get back into that pattern. Do you get what I mean? I think it's something that you can amend.
Yeah, but I think how you would do that maybe with the introduction of earlier sleep times.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that your body, because really, who's really sleeping 10, 12 hours?
I can.
Why though?
My hormones. So when I get attacked, I could sleep I could sleep and I wake up tired.
Is it like a
spiritual attack?
Well, I don't know. My father's people them are doing in the village. Could be.
But is it like a you sleep at this time and don't wake up till like 10 hours later? Or
no,
you wake up in between as well?
Like I will work and then I will finish work. Say I finish work at like 5 and I will just be there and I could sleep to the morning from like 7. And I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. But because your body feels like naturally weak, like you just feel weak.
But on those days, are you doing something like strenuous? So are you like walking? Are you going gym? Are you eating less?
I'm just existing, and my mere existence makes me tired.
Yeah. Have you? Because obviously, I'm not saying that you don't know what you're talking about, but like a lot of the time, we think we have the same schedule, but if you actually track it, you may not be doing what you think you're doing on those days.
No, but what I'm talking about is when it's like my hormones, when they're very, very heightened. When they're very imbalanced.
Okay.
That's then, but any other time, I can go to bed. Like I've been here sometimes on 2 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm a morning person where if my alarm goes off, I'm waking up regardless of when it was I went to bed. Because I've got something to do and I've got somewhere to be, so I'm going to wake up.
Yeah.
But so I do think you can kind of train your body to be a morning person. But I also believe, I feel like it depends. Yeah, you can wake up and be a morning person, but then how do you go forth in that morning spirit? Are you like a quiet person?
I think with time. So as long as you're eating correctly, I think, so you have the energy to sustain you during those periods. And then maybe exercise as well. With time, your body will start to get used to it.
Because I'm a morning person, but I also don't like being hit with too much in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Like, so my drive here, from when I wake up, is my defrosting time. That's what I mean. Like, you can be a morning person, but some people wake up in the morning, they're ready to go.
Yeah, that's me.
Like 6 a.m., you're just like full of energy. Like, relax, such a problem. But I'm more of a like quiet zen, then my energy is here.
I feel like for me personally, I feel like that's a waste of time.
It's not.
Because I
I'm
feel like
productive
I'm
during
like
that time.
that. I hear you. I feel like I'm like that come evening times. Evening times, 8, 9.
You're clocked out.
I'm gone, yeah.
Yeah, but having early mornings is a thing, man. I just need a nap. At 1 p.m., I'm just like, I need a nap. Fighting for my life. But I can't nap. And I try to go to bed early. It's such a scam, man. I'm going to be more disciplined next week. I mean, this week I'm very proud of myself. I wake up 5 a.m. every single day this week. Because I'm getting back, I told you I'm getting right with the Lord, with my Bible and whatnot.
Good.
Which has been good. Because there's been times, basically previous weeks, where I felt like I'm so tired. But I've had longer sleep than some days I've had this week. But I guess the flesh is weak. But, you know.
I get you.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing, to be fair. But I'm definitely a morning person now.
So when you lot was kids, yeah, what was your sleeping pattern like? Well, what was your waking up time like?
Oh, for school, innit? You wake up early for school.
Yeah, and weekends. What about weekends?
Get a lion.
Okay. What about you, Marks?
Yeah, same. You'd have to be up for school. What's a lion though?
Not waking up at the time you wake up for school.
At 9 o'clock?
No, not 9 o'clock. Because when you're a kid, you're excited, innit? So you wake up, but it wouldn't be like a 6:30 wake up. It'd be like a 7 a.m.
Yeah, it'd be like 9 or something. The kids shows, the shows start like 10 a.m. and shit like that. On
Earlier
Saturday,
than
innit?
that.
It's
Yeah,
earlier
It's
than
not
that,
earlier
innit?
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cocoa Pop's ready.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you're saying you get a lion, but it's not really. You're still up early, innit?
Yeah, but do you know what? But then because you're not going to school yet, it feels liberating.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like it feels different. As a kid, waking up for school is so long. I remember one time I was at my brother's house and I was there when my niece was being woken up for school. It was the funniest thing. This girl gave her mum like 10 reasons in 10 seconds why she couldn't go to school that day. She's like, oh, mummy, I'm so tired. She's like, oh, please, just a little bit of a lie. She's like, I don't even feel well. She was reeling it off. And my mum was like, Zara, get up. It was just the funniest thing. She's like, I don't even like sports. And then she was like, this is the worst day of my life. Her mum was like, you said this yesterday. Zara, get up. It was so funny. But as a kid, but then when during the weekend, she wakes up early. But it's different because I don't have to dress up and go to school.
I guess so.
Because kids wake up early, man.
For me, on the weekends, I was up early all the time, like 5, as a kid. Just watching like cartoons like Power Rangers.
But don't you feel that's different though?
Barney.
No, Barney.
I know, Mark, you watch Barney. Tell the truth.
I've seen
Said
it.
tell the truth, you know. Trying to get allies.
No, I've seen it. Actually, did you used to watch? I was a bit old for Barney. My sister used to watch Barney.
I never watched
Has
Barney.
that got lamb chops in it?
Lamb chops.
Or was that her own show?
I don't know about
Barney's a
that.
purple guy.
Did Barney used to come on lamb chops or one of the other two? You know the little
What's
sheep?
lamb chops?
Lamb chops.
The sheep, lamb chops.
I
Was
know
it called lamb
yeah.
chops? Are you just calling it? Was a sheep character and you're calling it lamb chops?
That's what it was called.
It was called lamb chops.
Yeah.
No, a lot of TV for kids is mad.
Crazy, innit?
Lamb chops.
Did
That's crazy, man.
I don't know lamb chops, you know.
I feel like they had a show and one of the Barney's his own show, right? Yeah, so Barney probably used to come on. Am I mixing up the two shows or something?
You must be. 'Cause I had never heard lamb chops in my life.
Are you googling it, bro?
And calling a sheep character lamb chops is
Mad, innit?
sick. It's a sick thing to do.
It's a hand puppet. It's lamb chops.
That's sick.
Fourth hole.
Oh, the woman with the curly ginger hair used to hold her in it.
I don't know. I don't remember the
The
woman.
Adventures of Barney and Lamb Chops.
Serious together?
Yeah.
Are they together?
wow.
Yeah.
And there's actually a sheep character called lamb chops.
Is it a sheep?
Because that's a sicko that wrote that.
You're talking about the hand puppet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
But I don't think that was related to Bambi, sorry. I mean,
Barney.
Barney, sorry.
No, I feel like maybe
It's a custom Barney TV show aired from November the 2nd, 1992 to July the 9th, 2010.
Serious.
so. It's a part of Barney then.
Yeah.
See?
This, is it? Oh no.
Yeah, that is lamb chops.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, I think that is lamb
Yeah.
chops. Yeah.
Lamb chops is hilarious, man. Oh, I had that.
What,
I know
lamb
what it's
chop?
called. Yeah, I remember. I just unlocked a memory. But I don't remember ever watching the show though.
Lamb chops was funny.
I was more of a tweenies girl. Gosh, I love tweenies.
I don't know why I put the two of them together.
I mean, people
They must have done a collab.
I mean, they are collaborating in there. That ugly looking doll. Yeah, all right, let's do topic, not topic of the day. What's it called? Question of the day. 1 second. So it's if you could switch lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
Someone that sleeps, man. Sleeping Beauty.
Someone that sleeps. Mine would probably be like a celebrity or something. Kevin Hart. I feel like Kevin Hart has a good day. It was no. Tracy Ellis Ross. She is a mirror of what I want to be when I grow up. Living nice life, just free, enjoying my company, going on holidays.
Who the hell is that?
Healthy hair. Diana Ross's daughter.
One from
Did you ever watch Girlfriends? Do you know Girlfriends, the show? You know what Tracy Ellis Ross looks like? What, blackish?
Yeah.
Her.
Who, the mum?
Yeah.
She's Diana Ross's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
She
That's
lives
funny.
such a luxurious, beautiful...
She ain't married.
No.
No kids.
She's living good. She looks so healthy. Not one wrinkle in sight.
It's probably why she looks healthy, innit?
That is why, that's what I'm saying. She honestly, her life is just so beautiful. I love it so much. She takes care of her nieces and her nephews, gives them back. Just free and wild to do all sorts and create businesses and travel all over the world. Yeah. Tracy Ellis Ross is who I'd want to be for a day.
You think she's lonely, Manuel?
I don't know her, 24 hours, man.
Nah, she isn't.
She may not be.
She isn't. She definitely isn't. I'll tell you that for a fact. She isn't.
A day. Some of the people I'm thinking about, a day's not long enough, man. I don't even know,
The rest of y'all?
I want to be Marks for a day.
Depends what day, though. You might get a good one, you might get a bad one.
You want to be Mugs on a day where he's got R&B slow jams?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for real.
That's the vibe.
that day will go off still. Who could I be for a day?
Okay.
Maybe that.
I can't think of no one. I'm just sitting there thinking. I can't think of no one.
Okay.
Someone interesting. Donald Trump.
With lawsuits. You pick the day you got to go court. That's a long day. That's a long day. Yeah.
I'm thinking like a president of an African country. But a day's
Which
not
one?
long enough. Nigeria,
You'd want to be Tinubu for a day?
Because I feel like I was trying to change things.
You ain't
You know
changing
what I mean?
shit.
That's what I'm saying. The day's not long
Tinubu.
enough. Yeah.
If you try and change things in that one day, by lunchtime you'll be dead.
We'll be gone in it.
They will kill your ass.
Not if I fortify myself though. I go and speak to like
You could
21
in
different
that
Babalawas.
21 bubble hours.
Hey, they can't get me, man.
By the time you get to the 21st one, he's the one that's been hired to kill you.
The more bubble hours you have, the more protection you have.
Nah, because it's they're in conflict,
That's true.
They'll be in conflict with each other because, you know what I mean? Like, pick one, pick a side. That means you're an untrustworthy, disloyal person. So now they're all coming together to kill you. So now you're dying 21 times.
Oh,
21 deaths in one life.
The good bubble hours will be against the bad bubble hours.
Plus, I think just some people's, because like, especially those who are like ministers and all that stuff. Like, a lot of them
Babalawas?
obviously go to Babalawas, isn't it?
Okay.
You say ministers, but well, isn't it? I feel the same as well. It's Friday, I'm tired.
A lot of the ministers go to them, right, to protect themselves and all that type of stuff. And obviously,
Ministers of what? As in like,
government ministers.
okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean.
Ministers of God?
No,
Well,
no,
I mean, some do.
But definitely some of them
do.
do,
That's how some
100%.
people have people in their church.
100%.
They've
They
gone
have
and,
bubble hours in church.
no, as in
No,
like, they've gone to the Babalawas to get success for their quote unquote church.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a whole thing, man.
But yeah, man, I mean, like I was saying, some of them are definitely in conflict with each other because they'll have different agendas. You're paying for a service, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
How can we all protect you if
you know what I'm
we're
saying?
protecting for everybody? But who we're paying to for protection is different. Some of them are ops.
There you go.
The thing that you can probably do in that 24 hours is to fortify yourself in a room and get a national broadcast station to film you leaving a message live, right? And then you can just out all of the back road workings and all of the schemings and all of that. Just vomit it all out. And it's out there forever, right? And then nobody could do the same thing once they kill you.
I guess so, but people just say that I'm a clone or something. And
The
they'll say it's
Nigerians will
fake.
tell you that you're a clone.
Yeah, it happened.
And
you
then
know,
they will say that everything in detail that you basically dropped
Was
is
fake.
all fake.
Yeah,
And that would pass with Nigerians?
I think so. Unfortunately, I think so, man. You know, there's actually people who believe that the previous president was a clone.
Yes, I remember you.
Yeah,
us
100%.
reported that.
Yeah, so 100%, man. A day's not long enough.
Are the Babalaos ever successful themselves? Somebody.
No. And that's what I find so ironic because they help people get rich here and become millionaires or whatever. But clearly, if it worked, why aren't they the ones that are rich?
They don't want that though. That's not their job. That's why.
Because they're God's servants.
Exactly.
It's, do you know what it is? It's the same thing when you go to an optician to get laser eye surgery when he's got glasses on.
exactly.
Nah, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's the
It's the
same thing.
same. Or
Nah,
GP.
that's
Because
the-
if what you're doing is so great, why haven't you helped yourself?
That's a choice. It's like a preference.
Or a GP who has a bad diet. Or you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes.
Nah, you can give advice and not take the advice, man.
Yeah. But again, remember these
do it all the time.
babalawas, remember they dedicate their life to this, from kids.
From
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, 100%. They're raised in it. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. A lot of the ones who are born into it, a lot of
said
them is
sorry.
because, huh?
You said sorry.
Yeah, because I want to
Hold
clarify.
up.
We ain't never had this moment.
I always say sorry, man.
We ain't never said that word.
Because I'm never wrong, God damn it.
Here
No,
we
but
are.
you know what I'm
He's
saying?
himself.
Like some people, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to rank people, but you do get some people maybe who are like African Americans or whatever, who want to go back home, find their roots, and then with time they become Babylons. They're taught it, right? But a lot of the people who teach them, those back home who study it, a lot of it is a family thing. So they're taught from very young, like primary school, certain things, you know what I'm saying? So they're raised in it. None of them see this as a profession to get rich. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Service to the community.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Let's get into our headlines.
Let's do it. Okay, so our first headline, Rishi Sunak is back in the news, man. And apparently what they're saying is he's likely to face a series of legal challenges aimed at thwarting his plans to U-turn on net zero policies amid further international condemnation of the proposals. So though the Prime Minister sought to shrug off some criticism on Thursday, the UK's independent climate watchdog joined the voices of concern, saying it was disappointed with changes that would make it more difficult for Britain to meet its legal commitments. One leading European politician said that Sunak was turning the UK into a climate villain and destroying its international reputation as a climate leader. Campaigners, including Friends of the Earth and the Good Law Project, are now assessing how they can stop a rollback that would allow new petrol and diesel cars and gas boilers to be sold for longer. The two groups were already involved in legal action over the government's climate plans, charging that they were inadequate. The Good Law Project has written to the Energy Secretary, Claire Coutinho, to warn of a fresh court challenge. And in that letter seen by The Guardian, lawyers acting for the group have asked for questions within the next 7 days to questions over how the government will meet its carbon goals whilst watering down and delaying these green policies. Next headline, Labour has promised to hand more powers to Britain's economic watchdog if it wins the next election, which it will likely do. Under the plans, the OBR, which is the Office for Budget Responsibility, would be free to publish forecasts and analysis alongside any tax and spending changes. The policy is a response to Liz Truss's mini-budget, which was delivered without OBR analysis, which led to market chaos and a fall in the value of the pound, which obviously we all know about. But Labour said the package would bring stability back to our economy. Speaking to the BBC, the Shadow Chancellor, Rachel Reeves also said that under Labour, all major tax and spending decisions would be by law announced in November to reduce uncertainty for businesses and families. Currently, the government typically sets out budgets in the spring, followed by an autumn statement, which can also contain significant measures. Under Labour's plans, only very minor policy changes would be permitted in a spring update to Parliament. The OBR usually produces forecasts only twice a year to accompany the spring budget and autumn statement, but does provide monthly commentary on the economy. And the last headline, Vladimir Zelenskiy, who, as you guys know, is the president of Ukraine, is finding his latest visit to Washington a much tougher occasion than the hero's welcome that he got when he first went there 9 months ago. So Zelenskiy was given a standing ovation, which we spoke about, when he delivered an address to a joint sitting of Congress in December. This time, however, he addressed the Senate in a closed session, but House Republicans turned down a request to address both chambers again. They also reported to have turned down an administration briefing on Ukraine. Zelenskiy arrived at Capitol Hill in the midst of a bitter spending battle that could trigger a government shutdown, and he faced difficult conversations when he met congressional leaders behind closed doors. Republicans have proposed a stopgap bill that does not include funding for Ukraine, an omission that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called an insult to Ukraine and a gift to Putin. So as you guys can see, there's a bit of a back and forth and right versus left regarding Zelenskiy. But yeah, there's a lot more to it, but again, when it's kind of simplified, we'll bring more information to the people. That's it for the headlines.
Thank you. Let's get into what you're saying topic of the day.
All right, people. So today's topic of the day, I know we've had some heavy topics, heavy discussions all throughout this week. So hopefully this one will be a bit lighter. However, I do still have to give a trigger warning to the people, just in case, it offends some people. But the question is, and we've done a poll, which I'm going to ask Brent to give us some of the results a bit later. Do you guys believe in myths and urban legends?
This was submitted by somebody in the community.
Yes, it was.
Thank you very much.
You got them?
Yes, 100%. She submitted it yesterday, I believe. Gave a nice breakdown of certain things that she wants us to discuss.
How she's
So,
meant to. Love
yeah.
that for her.
So guys, if you guys want to us to discuss certain things, please do the same. But yeah, question. Do you guys believe in myths and urban legends?
Depends which ones we're talking about.
Okay. Tell me an example of one you do and one you don't.
You're going to have to give me a list. I can't think off the top of my head.
Step on a crack, break your mum's back.
I was talking about those type of things.
It could be anything to you.
I don't believe in any of those, of course not.
What's an actual myth then? That
See, this is why I get
Are we
triggered.
talking about conspiracies? Are we talking about what's like? Give me some examples so I can get my
So,
brain ticking.
Tooth Fairy.
ooh, oh,
Of course not.
okay. So you see how in Nigeria people say if you pick up money you could turn to yam.
I see that more as black magic, if anything.
So would you pick up the money?
In Nigeria,
Yeah.
No.
You see, there's ones I believe there's ones.
You know what I'm saying? Is it because you're scared you might turn to yam?
no, because I'm just scared of black magic. I don't think I'm going to turn to yam, but there might be something else. I don't believe those things like turning to ghosts and stuff like that. But
Okay.
black magic, worshiping the devil, I think that's real.
Okay, cool.
Nah, mine is not fear.
Okay.
As great as he is in me than in the world. But it's just, I'm not gonna dabble with all of that because I know what it's a trap in it. I'm just not gonna dabble with all of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mugs?
Pass.
Brett?
I believe in the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
I believe that there are mermaids,
Okay.
Ooh,
sirens, and
it's a
them
good
things
one.
there.
Do you believe there was dragons?
I do believe that there was a form of a dragon, 100%. I do believe
Just
that
one?
dragons.
Oh, okay.
I do believe that there was some form of dragons. Yeah. I do believe,
Mermaid's an interesting one,
yes, but I have
I don't
theories
thought
for
that.
everything, obviously.
of course.
Of course. What don't I believe? Santa Claus, as in Father Christmas, with the reindeers and stuff.
Of course not.
Okay. You didn't say course not for the kids.
But the what?
But
Loch Ness monster.
wasn't
I don't know who that
wasn't Chris Kringle a real person though?
Is what?
Chris Kringle, who's Father Christmas, he was a real person.
I don't think he travelled the world.
Yeah, of course.
children,
Yeah, no,
gifts and stuff.
that fairy tale came off the back of who he was. It was just made up, but he was a real person though. Yeah.
I don't believe Chris Kringle.
This is from what I've read.
Yeah, I've not heard of Chris
This is from
Kringle.
what I've read.
Who the hell was the Loch Ness monster?
Saint Nicholas.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting Chris Kringle from a movie and it's a different name.
It is a movie.
I think so.
Is
Yeah.
there a sea creature?
Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
It's like a dinosaur.
but like a secret shit too.
I've heard about him in like shows and stuff. Okay. So wait, how dare you question when I said duh for Christmas for Santa? You're telling me, well, I didn't keep the same energy for the sea monster. BFFR.
Sea monster is a good way to phrase it. Also,
It's giving Scooby-Doo. If I'm being honest with you, I think that's probably where I heard it from.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Leviathan.
No, the monster guy you're talking about.
Ah, okay.
It sounds like a Scooby-Doo storyline.
Do you want any paracetamols? You want paracetamol? Okay. You could have the baggie if you want. No, that's definitely. Might be the equalizer.
Are you hanging?
Yo, sorry, it's Saint Nicholas.
Saint
It's Saint Nicholas I'm talking about, not Chris Kringle. Chris Kringle from a movie.
Oh, okay.
Saint Nicholas is the
I believe that all of the Greek gods, the Norse gods, those are all real.
How do you how explain your real though?
As in they existed.
Men, as in there were men and women. Or
Yes, and the gods also. You know the ones that walked the earth with men?
okay,
I believe those were real, and also the ones that they worshipped. I believe those are real.
but real in what sense though?
As in
That
they were
those
they
invisible.
were deities.
Okay.
And
where?
in the time in which it is that people were saying or passing down these particular stories that they were present,
Uh-huh.
I believe they were real. Are you asking me about Hercules and stuff? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, all them type of things. and Thor and Loki.
Yes.
They're all gods though.
Yes.
Freya.
But do,
God of
exactly.
Hades, all of them, 100%. I'm not sure about the details of the stories
Yeah.
that got developed off the back of them, but I do believe that they're steeped in some form of reality.
But
Yeah, I believe in the Norse gods.
not not to be like annoying, yeah. But all right, both of you said you both believe it, right? How were they real? As in, do you feel like at some point in time they were real gods, as in invisible entities that were worshipped, and those real gods are real and could do things?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
And then-
100%.
And then
Okay.
Christ came and beat them up.
And beat them up. Okay, cool.
And beat them out.
How you see it? So, do you feel like, because I noticed you said they were, do you feel like they still exist?
In some form or fashion, they could still grant blessings to those who still worship and pray to them,
Ah, okay.
right? Because their descendants will still be having shrines and stuff to them, innit? I
So
don't
you're-
live in them type of areas, so I don't even know if it's to practice in that manner.
So you're henotheistic then? You believe that there's more than one God?
I've told you they're commentary gods all the time. They've been
Yeah.
commentary gods in the Bible. So if that's the case, then yes, I believe they exist. I don't worship them, but 100% they existed.
Do you believe this particular idea? I don't want to go left, right.
We're
but do
here with myths and legends.
do you believe that every people kind of assigned a God? So, for example, to you, all of them might be lower G's, but to somebody over here, his might
the
be
capital G's.
yeah,
100%.
His might be capital G's, but yours and everybody else's is lower G's.
Yes,
Is that? Do you believe that's the case?
that currently is the case now.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real though, not what someone believes. As in, basically, there's a place up in the invisible world, in the spiritual realm, where all of these gods exist. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, so you're
Okay.
telling me that there is a universe for gods,
I'm asking.
and for each
Yeah.
of the people. No, I don't believe in that. That's not my belief system.
Okay, so then, how does that work then? How does it work that there's some people that have certain gods they worship, and those gods exist and can give them blessings and stuff?
How does it work?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question you're asking me.
Because the way
you believe in Babalawos, isn't it?
yeah, but they're human beings, they're men.
Yeah, but they bestow flipping blessings on these people. If men could do this, why can't God do this? Or
because one would say that the Babylawos are getting this power from an
where?
entity.
Precisely.
But what I'm saying to you is, if you speak to somebody who practices Ifa, for example, he might say to you, the God I worship is not the same as the Christian God, for example. So he would say, that's my God. Christians have this God. So I'm saying to you, did all these gods exist somewhere, right? And basically every ethnic group has their own God.
Yeah. Mama, again, my faith is in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And in the Bible, you had other gods that God said don't worship.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah. But why though?
Because he's the one and true God. And other worshiping of other gods are idol worship.
Yeah, but do you... Okay, I'm glad you said that. But do you see it as because God is saying to them, they're fake gods? They don't exist?
They're lesser gods. I'm the one and true God.
Okay, so God is saying they do exist, but they're lesser than me.
Yes.
Rather than they are fake. Don't waste your time with this idol.
He's not saying they're fake.
That's what I'm asking.
He was saying... Because remember, when Moses came down from the mountain,
Yep.
the two people who were worshipping other gods threw their sticks down and it turned into snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, the story is not exactly how that happened, but I know what you're saying.
How did it happen?
Because when he came down the mountain, they were worshipping the calf. The sticks with the staff was when Moses went to see Pharaoh. They're two different occasions. But I know what you're saying.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Can't remember that.
That's what happened.
Wait. Have I remixed this?
Yeah.
So he's talking about when he went up to pray to get the commandments.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he came down, Aaron and them, they turned their gold and stuff into is it Baal or something like that? They're worshipping the golden calf. Yeah. And then with the sticks one, that was when he wanted Pharaoh to let the people go.
Yeah.
And so he was performing miracles.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Like
And thank you very much for correcting me. I've said this quite a few times. Why nobody corrected me whilst I've been saying
You ain't said it in our presence.
Yeah.
I have. I've said it here.
Nah.
Have you heard this from me before?
We would have
Maybe I
corrected
said
your
it to
ass.
somebody else.
We've said it on 3 shots. So.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for correcting me.
Cool.
So, those gods that gave them the powers to turn it into snakes were real.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Cool.
And then God was like, that's okay, that's your flex. This is my flex.
Okay.
And then he threw down his stick and his snake gobbled up 2 other snakes, right? So I believe that there are entities that people worship that have powers and give them powers, blessings, this, that, and next. I believe it today, anyway.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Do you I don't want to say do you understand, but do you know that what you believe there is not necessarily what I think the majority of Christians believe? Because I think they attribute all of the other stuff to Satan. Do you know what I'm saying? So God...
But my theory is that all of these particular deities are just fallen angels with superpowers. And they're appearing to other communities and civilizations as gods because they've got powers.
Okay, so you kind of see it as...
That's why I said common G God.
Evil still.
Yes, I don't
evil.
see it. This is my belief.
Okay, cool.
In my honest opinion.
Yeah, I get you.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So that's why I said I believe in the Floki and Zeus and Thor and all of that kind of crap. It's just angels who've got powers and whatnot. And then,
Okay, cool. All right, so you guys have obviously mentioned certain myths and stuff that you believe in and don't believe in, right? The reason why I did the trigger warning stuff, because obviously a lot of, for religious people, the myths will stop when it comes, when it encroaches on their religion. You know what I'm saying? This is why I kind of laugh when you said, wait, you believe that this exists but not the Loch Ness Monster thing? Because it's like, when it's something that we're kind of familiar with, we're willing to say, yeah, this exists, right? Or it's real, whatever. It's not a myth. It must be real. It's accurate. But if it's somebody else's belief system or someone else's culture, it's like, nah, that's foolishness. But yeah, I say all that to say this. Stuff like the Tooth Fairy, yeah? Do you believe like the story of the Tooth Fairy, which I'll read out in a minute, all these myths come from real things, but obviously it kind of changed with time and you know what I mean, their meanings have been adapted and things like that.
I thought just to give kids a good time.
Okay.
I think they all have an origin, and the origin was probably just based off of real life events, and then as time goes on, they just get mystified and become fairy tales and become magical, but they probably just came from real life events.
Okay. And why do you think people? Do you feel okay? Let me ask you this: do you feel like most people believe that what you just said, that it come from real life events, but with time, da 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 da?
Most probably, if they think deeply into it, most probably, because do we believe in magic and all this mystic shit? Not really. So.
But you said you did. Remember black magic? You believe?
More so, when I say black magic, I mean take away the word magic. I'm more talking about devil worshipping.
Okay.
And I feel that black magic comes from devil worshipping. The word magic, I didn't make that word. I'm just using it because that's what we use to describe it. But it's more so devil worshipping that I think is real.
Okay, cool. So if you feel as though most people would say that a lot of this stuff is based on real stories, but obviously they've changed with time and become fairy tales and all that type of stuff, why do you think we still carry on these practices? So, for example, with the tooth fairy.
Who's we?
That's true. But I guess like in
well,
Europe,
parents carry it on because it's something like Esther said to entertain kids.
okay,
Because there isn't a tooth fairy. It's your parents that are putting the pound underneath your pillow, innit? So the tooth fairy doesn't exist. Your parents are putting the money there. They're just entertaining their kids, innit? They're keeping their kids innocent.
okay. Is that what you guys think as well?
Yeah, 100%.
It has to be because there's no tooth fairy putting the money there.
I
It's
would
the
like
parents.
to know where that story of the tooth fairy comes from.
Okay, I'm ready to.
Who's magically finding money?
Well, apparently, in medieval Europe, children's teeth were thought to be good luck to ward off witches and bad spirits, right? So the idea of exchanging a tooth for coins originated in Scandinavia. So what would happen is these Vikings would pay children for a lost tooth, right? And so these teeth were worn like as necklaces to kind of protect them and all this type of stuff. So it basically became a thing where the idea of exchanging a tooth for coins started to spread throughout the rest of Europe. And then, stuff like that, man. So while the tooth fairy, as children know her today, didn't make an appearance until 1900s, far later, the tooth myths and the rites of passage have existed in numerous cultures for eons.
So they thought the teeth were good luck. Where's the money coming from?
They would pay for it. So they would pay. I'm paying you for your teeth.
They're stealing people's teeth.
No, but they're not asking you to pull it out. As I say, when it drops out,
Yeah,
I'll
but
give
then
it to you.
because you don't ask for consent when you take the teeth.
You pay with them.
Yeah, they're paying you.
No, but is that how but tooth fairy don't work like that?
No,
No,
but
tooth.
it changed with time.
It evolved.
Okay.
Yeah. So imagine it got to a time, I'm just making this up, right, where people stopped believing this stuff, right? And so kind of the economy for kids would fall overnight, innit? Once people stop believing. So maybe it became a thing where it's like, okay, cool, let's not stop the practice. Let's enable this type of behavior to continue because it's a tradition, it's part of our culture. So the parents now would just take up that mantle and then just give the money and things like this.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
How about the look in the mirror and say something 3 times? What's that one?
That's Candyman.
Candyman.
That's from a movie.
Would you do that?
I've done it before.
Did anything happen?
Bloody Mary.
What's the Bloody Mary one?
They said the same thing.
I don't know
Okay.
about that one.
And how about the boogeyman under the bed?
Movie again.
Yeah, it's all the same. That's all the same stuff. I've tried all of them. They haven't come.
Yeah, but those all come from films. So they made up. Someone, a writer, made that up in his house, in his bedroom.
Yeah, but you didn't know when you was a kid, though.
I did because I was watching the movie.
Yeah?
What do you mean I didn't know?
What, when you was a kid, if you said Candyman in the mirror?
Yeah, I knew it came from a film, so I knew it wasn't real.
How did you know that?
I don't know. I didn't think Candyman was real. It's a character.
What do you mean? How old was you when Candyman was at?
I don't know. The same age as you.
So, now, when you were a kid, you didn't know Candyman wasn't real.
I did because it came from a movie.
How do you know what movies are?
Are you insulting my intelligence? What's going on? I don't know what movies are.
Well, how old was you when it came out?
I don't know when it came out
That's what I'm saying. So certain things you see as a kid, how do you know that it's not real?
because it's from a film. It's a fictional character, bro. That's like asking me as a kid, did I know that X-Men wasn't real? Spider-Man wasn't real? Any cartoon I watched, any program I watched, I knew they were fake. I knew it was fictional. Power Rangers, I knew it was a fictional character.
Cartoons probably easier to understand.
Okay, Power Rangers.
You was a bit older by the time Power Rangers came out, though, innit?
When did Candyman come out?
80s, something,
I didn't watch it then. I was too young.
didn't it?
I was too young. Let me check.
Maybe. late 80s. Have you seen the new one? There was a new one that I saw like maybe like last year, on Amazon Prime. It's got the original guy in it, but it's another guy. Yeah, it's a bit of a long one, but it's a decent watch.
It came out in 1992.
Okay.
So I was definitely old enough to understand that I was watching the film.
All right. So, how do you think some of these myths started? So obviously, we kind of did the whole tooth fairy one, yeah. But if you can think of a particular myth that you think is erroneous, or stupid, or whatever, or even one that you can understand why it has its place in society, how do you think that particular one that you're thinking of started?
I think this all came from just like the tooth fairy one, just an act or one person just made it up and it just spread. It's hard to say. Like even the whole what's the one you mentioned, Esther, about the
yam?
No, not the yam.
Oh,
the walking on the drain.
Oh yeah, crack. Walking a crack and you break your mum's back.
Yeah, someone just a singular person made that up and it just spread.
But do you feel like some of these things came from real things? So, for example, you stepped on the crack, and then that person went home, and their mum was trying to get something on top of her cupboard, fell down, broke their back, and they've linked it like that. Because I feel like all of these things came from real events.
I think it came from joblessness.
Yeah, they came from real events, but when there's no actual correlation between them, like, how do you make it believable? I don't know. Like, okay, cool, I slept on the crack, and then when I got home, something bad happened. Why is that related to you stepping on the crack? There's so many other things that happen in your day. Why is that the poignant thing you've decided to say, you know what, this is the reason why it happened?
No, you're right. But
even the whole, okay, cool, what's the other one? Break a mirror, you get 7 years bad luck.
I think it's because a lot of the time people may have revered these type of items. So, for example, there would have been a time when mirrors were like, wow, this is amazing. It's expensive, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And somebody's done something stupid and broken it. And for some reason, everyone's maybe shunned them in the community for a long length of time. So maybe 7 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then people's like, nah, if you do this, this is what happened to you. And it becomes something that just carried on. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I think most of these things come from a real place or a real sequence of events and they just become mainstays in society. But like no one really believes if you walk underneath a sign or whatever, that's something. I mean, we don't believe in it, but people just do it because it just becomes a part of society, innit? But when you really think about it, no one really, really believes it now. You just become used to doing it.
Struggling.
Is that your throat? Pause.
No, I'm done.
Oh.
I make it through this day.
They tried to come for you.
How
man.
about the evening?
Yeah, I should be fine. What time's that? 7:30.
7 o'clock. Because don't look at me like that.
Why do you do
Basically.
that? Why do you do that?
I don't know why he does that.
Because it says 7:30. But I've got to be there for 7.
Yeah, I just think we should be on the safe side. You could be parking your car at 7.
Okay.
So we can find parking, all that kind of vibe. Because if we're late, they won't let us in.
I'll be there at 7.
Yeah.
Going home. Sorry, people.
No worries.
Maybe.
Get well.
It's not even like that. It's something fixed, but it is what it is.
You're tough, right?
Yeah.
You're top even your tweet even says bad man. The irony of it all.
That's a hearty laugh. You know, but no.
You see, you coughed over your head. I thought you were gonna dodge that.
Later.
See you later.
Yeah, so like, obviously, like I said, I don't want to do trigger warning and stuff, right? But why do you feel like certain things we believe and we can kind of say this is nonsense, but certain other things we're like, nah, this is definitely real?
Because some things just don't make sense, man. Some things just don't make sense. It doesn't, like, when it's explained to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't come together for me. So I can't believe it just because you believe it. That's good for you and your mindset. But I can't take that on. I can't believe everything that everyone believes, otherwise I'm a confused human being.
Isn't it? Not everything that everyone believes, but obviously I'm playing devil's advocate here. But why do you believe, for example?
Don't bring up Jesus.
No, not Jesus.
Listen.
I was going to bring up Jonah, a different J.
I believe Jonah was in the belly of the fish.
I know that, but why? If you know what I'm saying, like, isn't that in the same sort of realm as any other type of myth?
No, because I've read about Jonah.
Yeah.
I ain't read about stepping on crack and breaking mum's back.
Yeah.
No, but that's just like a nursery rhyme though. That sort of thing.
It's not a restaurant. Some people really live by it. Like some people will avoid cracks.
Some myths and all these things, some of them come with actual, well, not the myths and stuff, but some things that, like religion, they come with, evidence of sorts. Books that we can read.
Come with
into,
receipts.
But books is not evidence, especially if
it's
it's
more
written
it's more evidential.
1,000 years
It's
later.
more evidential than
Hearsay.
all the other stuff that has nothing, nothing tangible. So if you were to ask me, okay, cool, why would you believe in religion more so than other things? At least religion has something tangible I can read. Whereas, give me a source of reference behind. If I break a mirror, I get 7 years bad luck. Walking on a crack. Give me tangible evidence. There's none. It's just words.
Also, they have lessons there. There's like moral lessons there. Saying your name or saying whatever it is that you're saying to Candyman in the mirror. What's the lesson there? What's the morals there? What life lesson is there? So Jonah's story has life lessons that helps me in how it is that I want to live moving forward. A lot of these myths are just nothing but I don't even want to say fear mongering, but sometimes they're just based. For me, they feel some of these things feel like baseless conversations. Like there's nothing tangible, nothing substantial about this. It's just words.
But you know that all the stuff that you see in the Bible and stuff like this, all of these things were oral tradition first. Then someone wrote it down. So really, the only difference is that you've got a culture or civilization that decided or learned how to write, right, and record all their history and stuff, and write it down and it was passed on. But some other civilizations maybe just kept them as oral tradition. You know what I'm saying? Like, but surely that shouldn't be a deciding factor between what's real and what's not real.
That's definitely one of them.
It definitely
and
is
also,
one of them.
But how is it evidence, though? Do you get what I'm saying?
It's more evidential than something that has no evidence at all, though.
Well, you know what?
No,
When you
why
start
is writing something down
but when you have a piece of information and you tell somebody else, that story starts to change. The more it goes round, right? Jonah's story, everyone knows Jonah's story. Jonah's story is there, is done. No one can change that, right? However, that's your business. I'm not even engaged because I told you not to bring up Jesus, and here we are talking about Jesus. But the other things are hearsay. But I feel like when it comes to life, it's not everything you have to subscribe to.
Yeah, 100%.
So, really and truly, that's just really the answer to it.
Well,
I don't. Some myths make sense to me, and some don't, and that's just really it. It doesn't. It's not myth Olympics. Yeah. It's just it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't resonate with it. So, I'm not buying into that.
And everyone picks and chooses what they believe in.
This is it.
Name me one person who believes in everything, believes in every religion, believes in every myth. No.
This is precisely what I'm getting at. This is why.
Yeah, but that's human beings though. Yeah. So what's the point?
No, I'm not saying it's a silly thing or anything. It's just me saying, how come we're able to say, okay, you know what, this works for me, and it's exactly the same as the other thing, but that doesn't work for me. Do you get what I'm saying? Is it some form of indoctrination, or is it something else?
Yeah, but that's
because why does veganism work for you, but eating meat doesn't work for you?
But those are not myths, though.
No. Just answer that question.
You're talking about myths. You're talking about just everything in life. You make choices every single day.
This is it.
Yeah.
What you eat, what you wear, your
where you go,
mindset, you've made a choice with everything you do.
100%.
Exactly.
But it's based.
So is that with myths as well?
Yeah, but like you guys were saying, you were saying, it's like there's evidence to it, right?
Yeah.
With the whole vegan and not eating meat or whatever, that is trial and error. I was eating meat. I stopped eating meat. I looked at the results. This is better for me. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
But at least I'm saying I've tried both. You know what I'm saying? And this is the evidence. This is the trial and error.
Yeah, but you know, like when it comes to myths and being told things, my form of trial is me hearing it out.
What do you mean hearing it out?
Like when someone tells me something, brings up a myth to me or whatever, I hear you out, I hear the reasoning behind it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me.
Yeah.
I've tried it. I don't have to live, like trying it in that sense of myths and stories and whatnot is not me living in those myths for a few days, a few months, see how I react to it.
Yeah.
No, it's me giving you the space to tell me what it is that you believe. You've said it, you've explained it, you've done that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that doesn't really, I don't resonate with that. I don't resonate with that. So I move on from it.
Yeah.
I've tried it. I've heard you out and I believe what I believe and that's it.
Yeah. And I think a big component as well is the fact that we hear all these myths and legends when we're kids, when we're impressionable, when we're young. So if you told a 38-year-old man for the first time about breaking the mirror and, you know, having 7 years bad luck, he'll probably tell you to get the fuck up his face. But if you tell a kid that who's young and impressionable,
Yep.
But you tell a 50-year-old man that Jonah was swallowed by a whale for 3 days. No food,
But you know, like
nothing.
the thing is, you're
He believes that
comparing.
too.
No, but faith, comparing people's faiths to mythical tales is very different. Because again, let me
I'm
finish my.
talking-
let me finish
I'm
my
not-
statement.
one second, I'm talking
interrupting.
about when you first hear it. So that story that you told about, if you tell a 50-year-old man who's never heard that before for the first time, it's not necessarily that he's going to believe you.
That's what I'm saying to you. What I'm trying to say is,
Yeah, but
the
no,
religious stories
but that's the whole point
require-
I'm making. As a child,
Yeah.
we believed all these things. Oh, don't step on a crack, don't walk between Batman's legs,
Yeah.
because we were kids. You can't tell that to a 20-year-old, 25-year-old.
I'm agreeing with you, but that's what I'm saying to you. A lot of these belief systems, these religious stuff, you have to be introduced as a kid too.
Yeah.
To believe them.
Not
Do you come-
necessarily.
and this, not all the time, but this is the reason why sometimes when you're raised in something, you don't question it as much. Because like, that's all you know to be true.
Yeah.
And so when you get to 30, 40, 50, you still believe that this is the case. You
Yeah,
get where
I
I'm coming
agree
from?
with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But actually, that's not everybody then, because
Not everyone, yeah.
that's how you know. Like that's how you. I feel like that's where faith has a different impact in your life. In that the way you're raised with something, you then grow up to be an adult, and you decide to know God for yourself and build a relationship with God for yourself. Read the Bible for yourself outside of what it is that you're told in Sunday school, outside of what you're told wherever, outside of what your parents have told you and whatever else, and you discover that for yourself. For me, not understanding comparing people not believing in a myth about whatever it could be and then believing in God, for me that's not equal weighting because of what faith is. So even if it's someone who's 50 years old and has just been told the example you gave and has also just been told about Jonah's one, if Jonah's one makes more sense to them, it makes more sense to them. But I don't think it's silly for me to believe in God and not believe in myths
Yeah.
Mm.
that other human beings have created. That doesn't make sense to me.
Do you know what it is? I think for me, I want you to see what I'm saying differently. I'm not saying believing in God. I'm saying believing in the stories that, yes, you believe God inspired. You know what I'm saying? But the Bible was written by man. We know this, right? Inspired by the Holy Spirit, right? But it's still written by man. And so you get many people across the world who say, I believe in God, but they don't believe in the Bible. I believe in God, but I don't believe in the Torah or the Quran or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So I'm not comparing the believing in God with the believing in a myth. I'm basically saying the stories in a myth that we don't care about, the European myth, for example.
Yeah.
Why is it that we won't believe that, but we'll believe in a myth also, because they fall into the same category of stories that is just written down
Because some
and belong
things,
to a faith.
because some things that you read may make more sense to you. So you might read a story and this story makes sense to you. You can actually see how this may have came to be. And some stories you can't really comprehend them. So to you, it's not really real to you because, okay, cool, this is a bit far-fetched in my opinion.
Yeah.
This story sounds real, sounds tangible, sounds coherent, but this story sounds a bit too made up.
Yeah.
And that's, people decide what
100%.
they're able to digest and what they can believe in. You know what I mean?
100%.
And for me, I feel like even like the story of Jonah, I don't see that as a story of Jonah. I see that as a story about God.
Okay, in
Like
what way?
Jonah's story of being in the shark's or whale's belly for 3 days, whatever, is a foreshadow of when Jesus was going to die and be buried 3 days and resurrect on the third day. That's what that is, right?
I'm glad you
But
said that.
don't relax.
No, I'll come back to it.
Just
It
wait
makes
a
sense.
second. But so for me, like all of that as well, I don't see it as a story about Jonah. Like when it comes to the Bible, I don't see, because if I don't believe a story about Jonah, or I'm questioning the story about Jonah, then I'm questioning the story about Jesus. Then I'm questioning the story about all the apostles. Then I'm questioning all the stories. And for me,
It's
then you
dangerous
don't believe in God.
territory. Yeah, of course.
You cannot believe in God.
I get what you're saying, but the reason why I said I'm glad you said that is because I now want to ask you this. Do you feel like you said, right, that story, the 3 days, all these type of things, they're not coincidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right, those amount of days and why 3 is used throughout the Bible a certain amount of time and 7 and all this type of stuff, right? Do you feel like you said, it's a foreshadowing of what Christ was going to do? That a story was being told, something that didn't really happen historically,
No, it happened.
but wait. Do you feel like, well, you kind of answered it, yeah, but more so like the story was kind of a prophecy for people to understand that this is what's going to happen in a real way with Jesus. But this event with Jonah didn't happen. Do you get where I'm coming from?
It happened.
Okay.
It happened, and it was a prophecy.
Okay,
Two things
cool.
to be true at once.
100%.
It happened, and the purpose of it happening was to prophesy of what was to come.
Okay, cool. All right, I hear you. My next question was going to be based on that, pretty much. Do you guys feel as though a lot of myths were just ways of explaining phenomena that at the time people didn't fully understand? Do you get where I'm coming from? So maybe somebody thought, you know what? Obviously, when I look at the world and I look at how things, evolve and things of that nature, it makes sense to me that every human being, or every living thing, I should say, came from the ground. So therefore, in a very sped up version of, let's just say evolution, let's just say you believe in evolution, right? A very sped up version of those billions of years for us to get man, we say God started the process, but he really just molded them out of the ground. And this is how it worked. You know what I'm saying? So instead of talking about all the scientific stuff in between and the evolution and the cells doing this and cells doing that and all this other stuff, we just condense this into 5 verses and say, essentially, this is what happened. The creator is there. God did this.
Yeah.
It came from the ground and we have man. Or do you believe that the myth itself was real? So God himself took a actual tangible amount of dust, molded it, breathed into it.
So I believe all those statements are like metaphors.
Okay.
To describe the process, like you said, it's a way of summarizing what happened in a condensed story, right? And to me, it's to me, I've always looked at it as metaphoric.
Okay.
Not actual, not verbatim, like he actually had clay and he molded it and then let there be life and you just became a person. No.
Okay, cool. So then essentially you do believe in myths. I'm not saying you didn't say that in the beginning anyway, but essentially you believe that some of these stories are myths. They didn't historically happen, but they are real. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
They're real, but they're not historically accurate.
It came from somewhere, like the whole
fairy thing.
That makes sense to me. Something that makes perfect sense. Because the actual origin story makes sense and how it's evolved makes sense too. I think they all came from a real place and real events and just changed over time.
Okay. I hear you. Esther, if you don't mind, do you kind of see it the same way as well? Or do you see it as every single story?
I missed the initial question.
Do you believe that every single story in the Bible is real as it is said, right? Or do you feel like it's real in that the event occurred, but not exactly in the same way, and it was told in that particular way so we can have an understanding of it? So I gave the examples to Yusuf about Adam and Eve, right? So let's just say the ancients, during that time, who actually wrote it from oral traditions, this, that, and the third, said, you know what, we can kind of see from just life and what God has kind of put into our brains that we came from the ground at some point in time, right? The process of evolution. But we kind of condense the billions of years or however many years, we don't even know it was, into a chapter in the Bible saying, you know what, we have a creator. We acknowledge that. We didn't just come out of thin air.
Yeah.
But God did it from the ground, condensed the 6 billion years, whatever it may be, into a chapter. And so man has come forth. Or do you believe God himself physically created the earth, saw the ground, and molded the ground, was happy with it, and breathed air into it? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I don't know about God's business like that. I don't know how God created. I feel like thinking about how it is that God actually physically created human beings, that's beyond me. Like, that's beyond me in itself. So I can't think of that. I can't even begin to think about that.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to the stories as well, I do believe they happened, and I do believe that the gist of it is what it is. But people report things differently. So for example, Jesus' miracles and stuff, they're reported differently depending on which disciple was reporting it. Some of them are just quick, straight to the point. Some of them like the details and will create an ambiance and make you feel like you're literally right there at the wedding. And do you get what I mean? So, But I do believe the stories are real and the gist of what it is there. Because in all of these stories, regardless of how reported it is, the context of what you're meant to get out of it is present in all those stories.
This is it.
And so, yeah, but I do believe that they are real. But when it comes to like how God, I do believe God breathed in our nostrils or wherever part of our body was for us to get air. But when it comes to how it was that he actually created us, that's beyond me to think about.
Ben, what about you? What are you thinking?
I'm compromised.
All right.
I can see what it is human beings can use these minerals and metals to create.
Okay.
And I believe that God could take the sand and form man.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And breathe life into man. I don't know if it is that he lipsed Adam. I'm not saying that. But if we can create what I can
Why has
see
he got
around me,
lips him?
as in breathing, it's physical. That part is obviously metaphorical and just playing with and that whatnot. But if we can do this, then 100% he can do much greater. But it doesn't take me like a while to basically delve into something that is fantastical. To be honest, I'm already there.
Yeah.
There.
I hear you.
Compromised.
So how do you see all the other stories then? Do you feel like
I think it's just those people who told those stories. It was their way of relaying it.
okay?
In its very, very base form, I believe it to be as it is, that it was depicted, just a little bit of seasoning.
Okay.
When I say seasoning, it's just how people tell stories. Some are poetic, some are just blunt and whatnot. I guess it's the grasp of language at the time and the person who was telling the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, let me give you 2 stories.
Yeah.
Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Do you believe that they was actually building this tower? And yeah.
I think they had it in their heart to build a tall building. It definitely wasn't touching the levels in which it is that some of these Dubai structures are touching, or even mountains and whatnot. But I guess it was the heart of the people that God was basically saying, "Oh, is that what you're trying to do? All right, cool."
And in fact, let me give you an extra story. Jonah, what do you think about that? Was he in the whale for 3 days?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. And the last one.
And I'm not even suggesting that it can be replicated. I'm not suggesting that you can actually be swallowed up by a big whale and still
stay
live.
there. Yeah, of course.
I believe that even in him being swallowed up, God gave him the ability to be alive in that particular
time.
space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And may not ever happen again.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Third story. Elijah, right?
Yeah.
He essentially escaped death, right? Because he was taken in a chariot.
Yeah.
Right.
Also Enoch.
Yes. Forget Enoch though, because Enoch's it's not much though. It's his story,
That's
right?
because they removed it.
But he didn't write the book himself. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
he did. Yeah.
So it's like it's still.
But you say when you say he didn't write a book, a lot of these particular prophets and whatnot didn't write these books.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
the stories that are passed on that was now less.
100%.
Yeah. Recorded.
But the reason why I'm saying Elijah, because the story is more common for people to know, right? They can just open the Bible right now and check. Do you believe he was taken up in a chariot or a UFO?
So a UFO is just our definition of what these things look like today. It wouldn't have been called a UFO back in the day.
Yeah.
It might have just been called a chariot of fire. Do you understand? Because in their estimation, they would have maybe seen some form of propulsion that looked like, and they're like, oh, that resembles fire.
Yep.
And that metal is something I've only seen in like brass and this, that, and next, cups. But wow, and that's what they would have deemed as a chariot, something that carries something.
Yeah.
They only knew it as a chariot, so they said it's a chariot.
Okay.
Not a chariot that's flying.
Interesting. I hear you. Makes sense.
Compromise, man. You can't talk logic to me. You get me? You can't put me down to earth. I'm already there.
Yusuf, if you don't mind, let me ask you this question as well. Yeah. In the story where Muhammad gets told.
Also, you'll see me. I know this story, but carry on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but in the story where Muhammad basically is instructed on how many prayers that we're going to be able to.
Okay.
The 5 prayers basically. Initially, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Again, you'll see me. I know the story.
Sorry. Well, basically, the story is along the lines of him being told to go and consult. I think it was consult God, yeah, or an angel about how many prayers I should tell the people to be praying every day, and he was told about 50 at first. As he's coming down from the heavens, right? He's told by is it Moses or Abraham? How many prayers did God tell you, or the angel tell you?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, they told me 50. And he's like, big man, you know the people won't be able to commit to 50.
Yeah.
Go back and ask for less. He goes back, he gets 40. Comes back, whittle down all the way to 5. A story like that, do you feel like that physically happened? Where Muhammad is actually going up, you know what I'm saying? Into the different heavens, getting this information back, going down, speak to Abraham, Or do you feel like it's more so a way to just relay that God wanted us to pray 5 times, but ordinarily he would want us to pray more times. Because of how we are as human beings, and we can't commit to that, let me give you 5 so you don't feel bad about it, and it's easier for you to manage.
Well, I've never heard that story before.
Okay.
So just make that clear. In the way you described it, I think a more tangible way to understand that would probably be just Muhammad praying to God and asking for less prayers, as opposed to walking up stairs and coming back down.
Yeah.
So him praying and him saying, "Oh, God spoke to me," then telling Abraham the results of the whatever, and then that's probably how it happened. If anything, I don't think there was an actual tangible walking upstairs,
Physical.
Hey God, coming back down. Hey, no.
Okay, cool. Okay. It's interesting. I think, yeah, it's interesting. It's like, and this is why I was saying to you, Brent, I feel like myths are real, because it's like Esther, correct me if I'm wrong, believes every single story in the Bible as it's written, right? Right?
As it's written, innit?
Yeah, okay, cool. As it's written. Yusuf, correct me if I'm wrong, believes every single story in the Quran, but doesn't necessarily see it as historically accurate. It's more so the most important thing is actually the moral of the story.
Yeah, not that it happened
and not
that exact way.
Yeah, exactly. But then to me, I still see that as it's still real. Do you get where I'm coming from? Not historically accurate, but the myth itself is real because what it produced.
But what's more important then, the myth itself or how it's been told and how it's been relayed to us?
This is what I'm saying. I think the meaning.
Hold on, I said all of this.
No, but you're saying yours is historically accurate. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but I
between the two
said
stories.
that people have reported it differently because of how people's styles of writing. However, the context, the gist of it, what you're meant to learn from it is present in every person's story, regardless of how it is that they've told it.
Yeah, but that's more so about the story of Jesus in the 4 Gospels. The reason why I'm saying that is because at least you've got all the disciples there seeing it. Kind of like all of us could be at a free shot show, for example, and you'll say yours experience is different to mine, but we're all there. We all know it's still true.
Yeah, but even
but
like
the
with
other stories in the Old Testament, there's only the person who's writing.
There's account.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, then I believe it how it happened. I do believe Moses went up to the mountain and he came down and they were acting the damn fool at the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So yeah, I do believe it as it's written.
All right, cool.
That's the only thing I can go by.
All right.
Do you believe in vampires?
Not
You.
Me?
Yeah, because we haven't asked you about what you believe in, innit? So, vampires.
Yes, I believe that vampires have existed. I'm not sure if they still do.
In what form?
As
When you
human-
say vampires, my understanding is...
Okay, yeah, that's what we should ask, yeah. Because I don't believe they live for thousands of years, or 1,000 years.
So you didn't think that they were like Highlander?
I
Obviously, he
haven't
was a
watched Highlander.
vampire, but he was immortal, right?
Okay.
So you believe that they sucked blood
Yeah.
and they couldn't walk during the day because of the sun.
Potentially, yeah.
What does that mean?
Because I still see that as potentially
That's
a condition.
Seasoned myth. Oh, what?
a condition of a human being. So a human being,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like, who maybe have, we've got maybe a name for that condition today.
To be honest, I've met a guy in the gym who, when it is, he can't basically be exposed to sun too long until it is,
Exactly. So something like
He
that.
doesn't turn into
Bite
fire.
people. And you don't bite people.
No.
Okay, I thought he was going to say sometimes.
No.
So something like that, where certain people are maybe shunned from society, and maybe they I don't know, at some point in time, maybe some people saw them where they just came out of a cave and saw them biting into a piece of meat, saw blood on their fangs, and it's like, huh, you know what I'm saying? But really, it's a human being who's been shunned by community, needs to survive, and
So
you
you
know what I'm
don't
saying?
believe in vampires as the mythical?
No, not as that being historically
It's
accurate,
just cannibals.
essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I actually believe in vampires, right?
Okay.
Like, only because I believe in the whole gene splicing with the fallen angels and man.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because they mixed the DNA with different animals with human DNA. So the whole bat and the human, they were human beings running around with fangs like flipping bats and drinking blood like that. And when it is God sent the flood, it was to wash off all of those particular things. The same principle stands with the mermaids, because the same way how you have the man and fish joined together, obviously in different civilizations, you have these particular beings that live in the water. The demons of the marine kingdom. Remember I was telling you about that the other day? Yeah. So it's the same flipping principle.
Okay.
And that's why I believe that they exist, and I believe that they still flipping exist. And that's why I also believe in the whole Loch Ness Monster, because it's just a dinosaur that was
It hasn't been extinct.
yeah, and I believe that there's still sea creatures like that that are in the deep recesses of the ocean,
I believe that though.
just chilling.
Yeah. Kimono dragon. Can that actually breathe fire?
I don't know. I was about to say yes, but
I don't know why, but I feel like they can.
I mean, we Google this.
Something like that.
Yes.
I feel like they can. Yeah. What was I going to say? But yes, to be fair, yeah, some of those stories that you're talking about, like the Marine Kingdom one, the mermaids, Miami Water, and all that type of stuff, I believe in those as well, you know. I definitely believe in those. But I feel like some of them are just more so spiritual, and sometimes can take on somewhat of a physical form, or at least appear to be physical to the people that see them. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that there's definitely truth to those.
They don't breathe fire.
You don't?
No.
Okay, cool.
That's
Myth.
yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that you believe in. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that's
But I believe in those dragon things, though.
why.
As in, I believe they existed. I don't believe
And
they're still here.
they breathe fire.
I believe so.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know, because I just feel like it might have been possible. I feel like maybe they maybe had a different system in them where, for example, they produced maybe higher levels of methane gas or higher levels of, you know what I'm saying? Something else that enabled that type of feature to occur. Yeah, that's why.
Yep. Cool.
No, also I was gonna say some of these things are just completely made up though. Like,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, like just completely and utterly just made up, and there's no truth to it whatsoever. But because it's been around for so long, we're just programmed to believe it. But some things are just literally just made up.
It's made up.
out of thin
100%.
air.
I agree with you as well. And maybe that's just to maybe protect people from doing certain things, isn't it? So maybe don't go down there because there might be a monster, you know what I'm saying?
There
Stuff
you
like
go.
that.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't mind, before we wrap up, I wanted to read another myth that was that's written in these notes, and this is about the story of Anansi. So everyone pretty much knows the story of Anansi. When I say everyone,
Nancy.
exactly. So when I say everyone, I mean basically Africans, West Indians, all that type
Yep.
of stuff, African Americans as well. And basically, this comes from Ghana, right? But obviously during the slave trade, these stories was passed on and kept, and a lot of people kind of evoke the spirit of Anansi or remember the stories of Anansi to help them through the tough times of slavery. And basically the word comes from, it means spider in Akan language, right, in Chui. And basically, yeah, like I said, it spread to the West Indies, Suriname, Sierra Leone, all over that area. And basically, Anansi is, in the stories, he's always like a trickster. Kind of like a shoe that I was telling you, Brett, right? And yeah, Anansi was celebrated as a symbol of slave resistance and survival because Anansi is able to turn the tables on his powerful oppressors by using his cunning and trickery. You know what I'm saying? And that model of behavior is what was kind of used and evoked by slaves to gain the upper hand when, within the confines of the plantation power structure. It's a big up.
I haven't heard the word
Myths,
Nancy
man.
since I was in primary school. Oh, God. I'm even just Googling all the books. I think it was Anansi and Mr. Drybone that I read in school.
I don't think I heard of that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we can move on from there.
Nice, let's get into our headlines.
All right, people. So the next headline, you guys know Rupert Murdoch, yeah? The media mogul. Apparently, he's stepping down as the chairman of Fox and News Corp with his son, Lachlan, if that's how you pronounce the name. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He's basically going to be taking his place and heading up both of those companies. In a memo to employees, Murdoch said the time is right for him to take on different roles. Murdoch, by the way, is 92 years old.
I'm glad you said that.
He's 92 years old. And he launched Fox News in 1996, right? And it's now the most watched TV news channel in the US. Murdoch said that he would transition to the role of chairman emeritus of both firms in mid-November. He also said, our companies are in robust health, as I am. Our opportunities far exceed our commercial challenges. We have every reason to be optimistic about the coming years. I certainly am. And I plan to be here to participate in them. His son, Lachlan Murdoch, is 52. And he's basically the son of, obviously, Murdoch and his second wife. And that the billionaire patriarch has been married 4 times and has 6 kids, many of whom followed in their father's steps into the family business. The question of succession has largely come down to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th kids, Elizabeth Lachlan, who we just mentioned, and James. Lachlan, 52, emerged as a heir apparent during his time as an executive in the late 1990s. However, he left the business in 2005 after a feud with the then boss of Fox News, Roger Ailes. And Lachlan returned to his father's empire in 2014, and since then he's held that top position. So yeah, long story short, it's going to be going to Lachlan. Next headline. Remember yesterday or 2 days ago, we were talking about Canada accusing India of killing basically an Indian guy who's in there, in America, killing one Indian guy who moved to Canada because he was more seen as like a rebellious person, trying to set up his own state to be independent of India and all this type of stuff. And obviously, this is a big deal because you can't be killing a Canadian citizen on Canada soil, right? But anyway, long story short, India stopped issuing visas to Canadian citizens because of this escalating row over the killing of the Sikh separatists on Canadian soil. So India said that the temporary move was due to security threats disrupting work at its missions in Canada. Tension flared this week because the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, said that India may have been behind the 18th of June killing. But Mr. Trudeau said on Thursday that he was not looking to provoke India with the allegation. I don't know what you're trying to do then. Anyway, India has angrily rejected the allegation, calling it absurd. And speaking to reporters in New York on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, Mr. Trudeau said that there's no question that India is a country of growing importance and a country we need to continue to work with. He said that Canada was not looking to provoke India or cause problems with the allegation, but is unequivocal about the importance of the rule of law and protecting Canadians. Relations between the countries, key trade and security partners, and US allies have been strained for months. Analysts say that they are now at an all-time low. India's government swiftly made clear that the suspension of the visa services also applies to Canadians in a third country as well. So obviously they're trying to make it not too bait, innit? And the last headline, again, I don't know if this is linked to the madness in Venezuela's jails that we talked about the other day, but Venezuelans seeking asylum in the US who are already living in the country will be allowed to work legally under new rules announced by the Biden administration. Apparently, what they're saying is about 472,000 people will be eligible for temporary protected status, TPS, for a period of 18 months. It follows calls by Democrats to expand work access for newly arrived migrants. US cities have been grappling with large numbers fleeing economic and political turmoil in Venezuela. People must have been living in the US on or before 31st of July to be eligible for temporary deportation relief and access to work permits under TPS. If granted, however, they'll be allowed to work while they wait for an asylum determination to be made. Some 243,000, just for context, 243,000 Venezuelans already have the status stemming from 2021 policy that was renewed last year. The DHS, which is the US Department of Homeland Security, said that the expansion of protected status for Venezuelans was warranted due to the country's increased instability and lack of safety. And that's it for the headlines. Time to pay the bills.
All right, let's get into some Word on Road. Okay. I feel like as a celebrity, right, I couldn't imagine anything worse than me going through some deep, deep stuff, fighting for my life, and one of my friends is out here talking to the press, releasing information about me. Because who asked you to do all of that? Basically, I told you guys about Jeanie Mai, Jeezy filing for divorce from Jeanie Mai early in the week, I believe. Apparently, a close source of hers, or a friend of hers, a close source, has decided to tell the publications that Jeanie Mai is holding on to hope that Jeezy changes his mind. Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me. Let me fight for my man behind closed doors. I don't need you letting everybody know that is my story. But apparently, allegedly, she's devastated by the fact that he filed for divorce, and that's not what she wants, and she wants her family unit back, and she didn't get married to get divorced. And I guess she believes that she just wants the marriage to work, and she believes they can get through whatever it is that they're dealing with. And the insider said, Jeanie deeply loves Jeezy and she wants to work things out. She did not get married to get divorced. This was not part of the plan, and this is not how she ever imagined things would go down. I think that's pretty sad though. And hopefully they can have conversations and see what it is that's obviously going on. Obviously there's been a lot of speculation about what it could be. Because basically, I think she was on a podcast one time and she's talking about how she didn't realise some of her character traits until she was with him, and he highlighted it to her. And it's something that she's more conscious of now and working on stuff like that. And people are using that as maybe probably had enough. Shut up. Shut up. And you have enough of your man.
People always like to see things fail, innit?
I don't know, man. Because people were proper celebrating the day it got announced, and I just thought it was so weird. It was so weird to me. But yeah, man, it's sad. And I hope she can get her family back, and whatever it is that's going on, they can deal with it and they can sort it out. So also, Emma Watson has been in the news. I watched a lot of childhood films with her. What was it?
I used to like her, man.
I did. Well, she was out here being transphobic on the set of American Horror.
No
film,
way.
whatever that thing was. What's it called? Sorry, hold on. Where is my link? So basically, there's an actress called Angelica Ross. Okay. And she is in American Horror Story. I've never watched that really. And essentially, she basically is claiming that while they were on set, Emma Watson made a transphobic comment. So Angelica is a trans woman, black woman, trans woman, right? And so she said that one time I think there was a conversation going on or something like that anyway. And then Emma said to the director, "Oh, Angelica's being mean to me." And then he was like, "All right, ladies, stop all of this, let's go back to work." And then Emma goes, "Don't you mean lady?" Jeez, that's wild, you know. That's wild. That's a wild thing. But so she obviously Angelica shared the story in her live, whatever. But Emma's actually called her to apologise, which I think is very progressive and very beautiful. Mm-hmm. So Angelica then came back online. This is what I like. I like when people keep the same energy they came back with. So she came back online to let people know that no, she's apologised, kind of thing. She said, "Thank you, Emma Roberts, for calling and apologising, recognising your behaviour was not that of an ally." She said, "I will leave the line open to follow up on your desire to do better and support social justice causes with your platform." I think that's very, very healthy. Because, usually we just get back and forth fighting all the time. So that's very progressive and very lovely.
I'm glad.
Fantastic.
Obviously, you said that because people in chat was like, "Oh, it's Emma Roberts," but obviously you said Emma Roberts there.
Oh, my bad. Did I say Emma Watson?
Yeah. Because I thought it was Emma Watson, innit? When you said that.
Who's Emma Watson then?
Emma Watson's the Harry Potter one.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
Yeah.
White women. My bad. I meant Emma Roberts. Sorry about that.
The reason why I reacted that way, yeah.
The person's going to tell me it's Roberts, I swear.
Good morning, caller.
Hi, could Esther say Emma Roberts? It's Emma Roberts, not Emma.
Yeah, we corrected that. You're a bit behind on the live.
Oh, cool. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. The reason why I said that was crazy is because I like Emma.
Who is Emma? Let me see who Emma Watson is.
You know her. She's a child actor person.
1 sec. Oh, I don't know who this woman is.
You seen her? Have you seen Harry Potter?
No, I don't watch all them devilish things. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in Harry Potter. Basically,
I've seen it.
Go.
To be honest with you.
I don't even know who Emma Roberts is, by the way.
She's like a woman that goes to my gym. So I don't think I know this woman. No, Emma Roberts is she's more like in like, you know, like those teen heartthrob, what are they called? There was a name for them back in the day. Chick flick movies.
Okay.
Was she wasn't Legally Blonde. She was in one of those things. So she was in Wild Child. That was her thing. There's a film called Wild Child. She was in that. What else was she in that I can say that was known like that? Was she the one in Centurions? I don't think it was. Yeah.
This is Roberts.
Yeah, this is Roberts, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, Emma Roberts is who I was talking about, not Watson. Everyone wrote down Watson, my bad.
The reason why I was saying that is because...
So I gotta change this.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've changed in the doc as well.
Because Emma Watson,
yeah,
right? Like I said, I used to think, oh yeah, she's good. But then she came out, apparently, I could be wrong, guys correct me, I think she came out to condemn the writer of Harry Potter. What's her name? J.K. Rowling.
Oh, J.K. Rowling, yeah.
For the trans thing. So when you mentioned that, I was thinking, what? You've condemned...
Oh, you condemned somebody and here you are...
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, my bad. And then somebody else who... Lizzo's going through it, man. So there's another lawsuit that's come up for Lizzo, right? This time is by the fashion designer. And she's basically saying that... it's the same thing that other girls have said. Basically, she's suing her for bullying, harassment, and racial discrimination. Basically saying that she felt like she was living in a madhouse. She actually said this, I felt like I was living in a madhouse. She said that it was totally shocking. She said, I was listening to this black woman on this huge stage have this message of self-love and caring for others and being empathetic and being strong and standing up for others. And I was witnessing myself, the dancers and the background vocalists and my local team in every city be harassed and bullied regularly. She said that, what's it called? The wardrobe manager, Amanda Nomura. I need to Google if this woman is white. 1 second, I'll tell you why it is. I need to Google if she's white in a second. Let's see. Okay, well, she's not white. She doesn't look white. Basically, she was saying how, like, she would, what would she do? She would basically, like, call the performers fat, call them useless, call them dumb, and then she would force them to change in front of, like, mostly white male stage crew, who would then lewdly gawk at them. So it's a whole thing. And apparently when she spoke about it, the woman who with this new lawsuit, when she spoke about it, when she complained about Nomura, she got fired. So yeah. And this is obviously similar to what it is that the other 3 girls have alleged. So it's gonna be so interesting to see how this case, what happens with this case. Because it really is everything. These allegations are the complete opposite of who she's meant to be and what she's meant to stand for. And that is just wild. Like, that would be the wildest thing. But then that's also the entertainment industry. It's about perception. You make people think a certain way, but the life you're living really and truly is very different. So I'll keep you updated on that, of course. What is next I'm talking about? Oh, Chris Rock. I thought this was so sad. So basically, right, Leslie Jones is promoting her memoir, which is lovely. And she's got like when they have like a nice little quote or forward written thing by people. Mm-hmm. She's got one by Chris Rock. So she mentioned Chris Rock and she talks about how he had to seek counselling after getting slapped by Will Smith. And before I get into what she said, I thought it was really, people were laughing online. When we tell people you did therapy now, you be acting confused. This is why, because your heart is of the devil. You got wicked, bad hearts. Of course he bloody needs counselling after that. He embarrassed him in front of the world. And then you lot made him a meme consistently, and the people blamed him for getting slapped anyway. It was the whole thing. So basically, Leslie then said, she said that shit was humiliating. It really affected him. People need to understand his daughters, his parents saw that. He had to go to counselling with his daughters. You can't see your daddy get slapped.
Sad, man.
Yikes. So she said how basically when she saw it, she was infuriated, and she was like, you don't know that I was going to jump in my car and roll up there. I was so mad on so many levels. And she was like, all Chris Rock did was a joke. And she said the thing is she knows Will Smith too. And she knows that he couldn't handle what he had done afterwards as well. But yeah, man, I think that's one of the saddest things that's actually happened. Him being slapped like that.
I'm so curious. So, like what would have been discussed in the counselling session with his daughter?
How did you feel seeing your daddy get slapped? I'm
So
joking.
it was for her.
I'm joking. No, I think it was just because it's embarrassing, isn't it? Like your kids and whatever else seeing you get slapped. That's wild, you know.
And she was probably getting teased in school.
That's the thing. They would have been getting teased in school because the dad was a meme. So it's not just embarrassing for him, but it's embarrassing for the kids because the way the kids are, I feel like they're in like probably like college or something like that. So all your friends are gonna be talking about that. So it's all of that stuff that you got to get into, and they will be angry at him for doing his job and getting slapped. So they probably would have been have some kind of resentment towards him because now I'm being mocked and whatever else because you went on stage and you did that.
Okay.
So it's not just affected you, it's affected us as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
It's all right, anytime. Yes to therapy. So yeah, I understand why he would have gone to counselling and with his daughters as well. So that's very, very sad. I thought that was sad. What else am I talking to you about? Oh, so basically there's a woman online who did a story time. I haven't seen anything about any of this yet, but from what I've seen, I think this is about Zach and Mitch from Love Island that happened 2 months ago. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, he has deleted it. So basically, Zach, there was a Space NK event. And Space NK is it's like a shop that does so many beauty products, like a Harvey Nichols, that type of vibe, right? They had an event and Mitch and Zach allegedly showed up. Mitch and Zach were allegedly not invited to this event. But they got there. This event obviously had big stars. It had Sabrina Elba there. Mitch and Zach are going on and banging on about how they're the biggest celebrities in this room. First of all, you weren't invited. Secondly, you just got off Love Island the other day. And of all the main characters in Love Island, y'all ain't even it. You're not even it. So apparently they were bragging about how they're this and whatever else. And eventually they got kicked out of the show. They got kicked out of the show because firstly, it's unclear. The girl didn't really specify which one of them did that. But for me, if you're standing there and you watch someone do something stupid, you're an enabler. You're enabling it. Apparently, there's a homeless guy that asked them for money, right? And one of them threw the money at the guy for him to then pick it up from the floor. So that was just disgusting anyway. And apparently as well, they made a homophobic comment as well. And when this was then reported back when the Space NK event organizers heard this, they were like, yeah, y'all gotta go. You got to go. And the reason why I believe it's true is because Zach actually had posted a picture of him and Mitch at the event. But obviously, they got kicked out. So now the picture is basically gone off his Instagram. I don't know, man. Being pieces of shit is just not it. At the end of the day, with Love Island, yes, Love Island gives you immediate attention, immediate clout and whatnot. But unless you use it and you do something substantial with it, it dies with you. It dies with the memory people have of you. Because a new season is going to come. 2 more seasons are going to come in the next year. In the next 9 months even. And people are going to forget you. There's never an excuse to go around being pieces of shit to people and throwing things at homeless people and just treating people with no respect and just walking into rooms thinking that you're the best thing to be in there. Even Beyonce is a humble in room she walks into. Who are you? I just know. I just find it very, very disgusting, very, very distasteful. And if it is true, as the woman has said, and I have no reason not to believe that is as the woman has said, that is just absolutely disgusting. But speaking of disgusting things, I've obviously reported, I think, a couple of times now about Mohbad, his passing, all the stuff that's been going on with that situation. So I think last time I reported, I said that there were that protests being planned, and essentially the fans were basically calling for the government to intervene because there was all this video, photo, all the receipts one can imagine of him being bullied and harassed by Sam Larry, by Naira Marley, because he wanted to leave the Marlians record label. Well, basically, the most recent update, there's been protests around everywhere. There was doing a protest actually. What day is it today? Friday,
22nd.
Thursday. It was Wednesday.
Okay.
So yeah, so on Wednesday evening there was actually a protest, a candlelight protest in Peckham for him. People have been protesting around the world. New York, there's a whole big poster of him in Times Square now. It's just so sad that he's not here to see all of it. But I feel like sometimes your purpose isn't just when you're alive, because his passing has literally shed so much light to so much darkness. And that was the name he went by. He went by the name Imole, which means light. So, yeah. So basically, yeah, he's getting all these, everything. Like even Meek Mill's talked about it. Lil Durk's talked about, like, everyone is coming to know his story and coming to know how talented he was and showing their respect and all that kind of stuff. That's all going on. So basically, there's been protests going on. And I told you guys about Iyabo Ojo, who is a legend in the Nollywood industry. So she's actually been pushing for the authorities to actually do something about it, and beyond hashtags online and beyond, the outrage online. So she's basically been pushing for the police to investigate all parties that are involved in everything, in his bullying, in harassment, from when he passed away to how he was buried, to all of that stuff. They're saying, yeah, all of that needs to be looked into, whatever. He did file petitions to the police a number of times, asking for protection, asking for restraining orders and stuff like that. That was never actioned by the police. So they're asking for that to be investigated and for people to for answers as to why that wasn't done in the first place anyway. And they're also saying, moving forward, people who file restraining orders or complaints or whatever it is, that actually one detective is assigned to the case, so that so we know who to hold responsible, say something goes wrong. And for all these things to be computerized and not just kept in some paper box somewhere, some box with files or whatever. It needs to be on the computer. So that's what they've been pushing for as well. They've also been pushing for arrests of all parties, and that's now a thing now where the police are basically questioned. They've called every single person that's been involved in some way, shape or form, that knows something about him and whatever else, in for questioning, and that includes Sam Larry and that includes Naira Marley. They hadn't heard anything back from those two since being summoned to the police for questioning. So I believe they either are currently or they will be declared wanted as of today. And they've said they're going to be contacting Interpol, because I think they're all over the place, innit? They basically, in the words of Naira Marley, they actually did a Jackpot situation. They ran away. And basically they're going to be declared wanted, and they're going to speak to everybody they need to speak to, so that wherever it is that they are, they essentially get sent back to Nigeria.
What's Jackpot?
Jackpot is to leave. So basically, what it is basically people in Nigeria at the moment who want to leave the country. So you want to migrate somewhere else. So essentially it's like to Ghana. No, to like, it could be to be actually, yeah. Because essentially you wanted to escape the struggles of Nigeria and not being able to make something of yourself in this place. So with Jackpot, that will run. But when Naira Marley did it, he was singing in context of he's wanted by the police, so he's going to run. So Jackpot is to run, essentially. But people have kind of done a thing where they use it as slang now of when they're leaving the country to get a better future.
Okay.
So so all of that's going on. What else has happened? So basically, there now is an autopsy going on. I believe as of last night, the police commissioner had actually confirmed that it was done, and now we're just waiting for the results of the autopsy. So basically, they exhumed his body, and even with that, there's been a lot of, I don't know, should I trigger warning that? Trigger warning. It's quite detailed and graphic and disgusting. So trigger warning. If you're icked out by stuff, just put me on mute really quickly. But basically, with that situation as well, there's been a whole situation going on. So they got his body out. Actually, before I even get there, his dad wanted to bury him on the day he died. Why? Because they're hiding stuff because they killed him. So the story is that, he was ill. They went to hospital. They gave him an injection. When they gave him the injection, he passed out. Man, there is no death certificate. No doctor declared him dead. Because apparently from when he passed out, the person that was there with him, that went to the hospital with him, carried his body, his alleged dead body out into the car. And that's where he did that snap about, oh my gosh, Mohbad is dead, Mohbad is dead. So there was never any doctor certificate to say like he died. There was no attempts to resuscitate him. He was not declared dead, as far as we know, by a doctor. Because as soon as he passed out, the person picked him up and left the hospital. And who are you? He's not in family. So who are you that the hospital should release a dead body to you? So the nurse that injected him as well has been arrested. Everybody's been arrested because everyone has been questioned. Everyone's been arrested. Basically, everyone's been called in for questioning and they're doing what they need to do. But basically, when they got his body out, right? So trigger warning, tune out, mute it, whatever you need to do. When they got his body out, the locals, obviously went to see the gravesite. So initially, when they buried him, the reason why they couldn't bury him that night was because the ballet of Ikorodu. Ikorodu is the area. The ballet is like the chief of the area. So essentially, things can't happen in it here without his knowledge. Yeah. So they wanted to bury him at nighttime. He didn't give his permission for that, and he was saying they kept calling him relentlessly, and he was like, "You're not burying somebody at nighttime where the eyes cannot see what it is that you're doing. Yeah. What is the hurry to bury this person?" kind of thing. So, anyways, when people started calling for an autopsy to happen, they then cemented the grave. Before, all it was sand over it. They then cemented the grave. So anyways, yesterday, they officially dug him back up. And obviously, they just took the body, left the casket there, which they squeezed him into. They broke his neck to squeeze him into it, the whole thing.
Can you imagine?
Basically, people saw fresh blood in there.
What?
Yeah. So basically now, people are basically saying that they don't believe he was actually dead when he was buried. And so there's been a lot of science stuff going on in terms of how it is that the body decomposes and blah, blah. And obviously the body will, the body releases stuff and whatever else and blah, blah. And basically people are saying that, because he was buried 9 days ago, his body didn't smell. People were basically saying that when they removed his body, the body still looked like it looked fresh. It wasn't swollen, it didn't stink, there was nothing. Because bare people there, there's a crowd there. So basically people are now saying that it is possible that actually the injection just made him unconscious. Yeah. And that's why they were rushing to bury him. And so he was buried alive. But honestly, it freaks me out. It's literally making me so uncomfortable. But the prayer is that he never regained consciousness. Because that's wild to think about. That's the wildest thing to actually even try to stomach. So the prayer is that the autopsy will actually show good results. But I'm going to be honest with you, Nigeria is Nigeria. As much as it's a whole justice for Mohbad thing, as much as there's all the protests, as much as the authorities are saying, yes, we've called Naira Marley and Sam Larry and Naira Marley and Sam Larry are friends with the governor of Lagos. They're boys. There you go. He's friends with all these politicians. I told you guys several times that Naira Marley, who everyone knows, is high as a kite, 25.8 a week, is out here as the ambassador for the anti-drugs organization. So that in itself just tells you everything it needs to tell you. Do you get me? So it's sad. I want him to have justice, but I feel like it's going to be a justice of more from people because Naira Marley is losing followers by the hour. Like his followers have dropped tremendously. Allegedly he's now buying fake followers to try and conceal it a bit. When you go on his thing, it's like hella bots following him. And also, a lot of promoters worldwide are like not booking them. They stop playing their music now, not in their mixes, not on radio. A lot of radio stations in Nigeria have announced that they're not going to be playing any Malian. None of the artists that signed to him, none of him. Zelenskiy was meant to have a tour in America. That's been cancelled. Wow. So in terms of the people, in terms of justice by the people, that pressure's been there. And also there's petitions being signed for Malian music to actually be banned, as in the actual record label. Wow. Because there's so much stuff going on. It's all stupidness. So there's all of that stuff going on. So I will keep an eye and I will let you guys know. God willing, by the weekend, we'll hear the results of the autopsy. But I'm not holding my breath for them to actually come with facts that this guy was actually killed by who he was. And actually, I feel like the autopsy, if anything, knowing who Naimani and them are friends with, they're going to use to exonerate them.
Yeah.
They're going to use them to be like, oh no, it wasn't that. And what they're going to do, because what they're doing is basically shifting the blame onto the family. So there's people as well who are now fighting and saying that the wife needs to do a DNA test because the child don't look like Mohbad. It's 5 months old. Babies don't look like wherever in it. But people are saying that they feel like the wife has something to do with it as well. They're blaming they're blaming his dad, which his dad just have things to, and Mohbad is saying his music that his dad has been compromised. His dad collects bribes.
Oh, serious?
He said in his music. And his mum is basically the only person at present. His mum is the only person that I actually feel like is genuinely grieving this guy. And Jenny did not know he was going to die. And she's spoken and she's so clear in her interviews that no, these people killed my child. She's clear about it that normally killed, because she's saying that my child told me what's going on. And she always said to him, like, I know a few people, let me talk to this person and let's see, maybe they can help. And maybe I'd always say to her, no, mum, like, don't do it because they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. So he always told his mum, like, just be in hiding kind of thing. And his dad is over there fighting about properties and trying to crowdfund the people.
Useless people.
It's sad. The more that gets revealed, the sadder this story just gets. And it's just so horrible. Now, people are also cussing the police because they're saying how, had the police gotten his body out to do the autopsy days ago, there's a chance he might have actually been in a coma and they might have something. You know what I mean? There's a chance of something, of more positive news. But because they took their time, this is now what's happened. Because they were meant to do it, I think, on Tuesday or something like that. And then they delayed it, and then they said they were going to do it between Wednesday and the weekend. So even them doing it yesterday was by chance. But obviously, when they've then done that and there's literally a pool of blood in there, people are like, what the hell?
It's a joke.
Like, this is stupid now, kind of thing. And then also, obviously, everyone has been protesting in different places, all been peaceful protests. Yesterday, there was a candlelight protest in Lagos. And then following that was meant to be a concert. So that's at 8 p.m. Cool. Davido headlined the concert. He actually flew back while he was on tour to do that, which is cool. However, the issue is that now, so that situation happened, but it ended up being a case where there was police provided by the government and whatnot to just make sure everything was good, calm and whatever. However, people decided after the concert was done and everyone was supposed to go home, some people decided to go to Lekki Tollgate. As a reminder, Lekki Tollgate is where all the youth were killed when NSAR's protest happened. People decided to go there. The police were saying to people, you guys need to go, you need to go home, whatever. They decided to turn into some kind of protest. None of this was meant to be a protest. It was meant to be a peaceful, candlelight, solemn walk. And then a concert, and that was it. Everybody go home. People decided not to go home. Now, it all became a whole thing. Now there's tear gas involved. Now it's chaos. Now people are bleeding. And now here we are. The government get to say now that you give them something to say. Do you get me? You give them something to say. And all of this stuff, again, is distracting from what it is the government need to be doing. They need to be helping solve this murder mystery. And use a lot of now had them doing tear gas and whatnot. It just creates friction where people have been very peaceful and letting the police do what they're meant to do. Now you've done this. Now there's animosity. It's just a whole thing. And even like with the whole concert thing, it's interesting because when all of this happened and people were being called to speak out, some celebrities were very quiet. Some people were friends with Naira Marley and then were very, very quiet. But then now the concert's happened, all of you are now doing tributes and now you're all there because it's sad because it's become a thing where people want to be seen as they're speaking out for it.
Yep.
But all of you were just at the concert dressed up all nice and whatever, just to do your little story and to do this and to act for the camera.
That's
so even that is distasteful because really and truly, a young guy has died. He's 27 years old. I don't understand what the concert was for. I'll be honest with you. Because I'm hearing as well, the manager apparently was charging some charges. Where's the money going to? Because I ain't heard nothing about the money being sent to his kid or anything like that.
Hopefully is at least.
But I doubt it. Because really, like, I don't understand what the concert was exactly for. When Cadet died, and there was a concert for Cadet here, the concert went towards like a charity that he had set up. It was something that Crep had set up in honor of Cadet. I haven't heard the same about Mohbad. So it was just a chance for certain celebrities, not all, because some people are really real to what it is that they preach. Certain people to just be there and be doing, oh yeah, you know, we're helping, blah blah. And it's just like, this is the problem sometimes with Nigerians. Everything is a joke. Everything is party. You don't love a party to death. It's just ridiculous, man. So all of that stuff is going on anyway. I'll let you guys know what the result of the autopsy is and what happens after that. I really do pray he can get some kind of justice, but I do believe like he really is light because he's really brought he's really shed a lot of light into the foolishness that's going on, even in the music industry. That's one of the things they're fighting for now, where it's like the music industry itself needs to be regulated by the government to some extent, where if people want to leave their label, they can leave. All of this threatening, all of this showing up and beating people up and just attacking them and trying to kill them is wild. Like, when we actually deep that all of this happened, this guy was killed because he just wanted to leave the label. It's mad to think about. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. And as always, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Mohbad. Was that the last thing? I hope it was. Yes, it was.
Thames tweeted.
Yes, so Thames tweeted, she's confirmed that she's not pregnant by Future.
But thank God.
No, but she was like, all of you are she's like, all of you are mad.
Of course.
She's like, all of you are mad. Because what the hell does that even mean? What does that even mean?
That's insane.
But I mean, I didn't think she would justify it with a response at all. But I guess there you have it.
But you know what? Some crazy rumors you have to nip in the bud though. So I don't even blame her. Because people might start talking rubbish about...
Yeah, but if I don't come out... Yeah, but in 9 months' time, we'll all see that I'm not pregnant, isn't it?
This is true.
And when you see the Future with his next girl, you know that it wasn't me. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it was just so dumb and it came out of nowhere. Like, she was literally trending #1. I go in there thinking, yes, an album finally hit. I'm seeing Thames is pregnant by Future. BFFR. Thames just minds her business, you know. Sis just does her music, minds her business, lives a quiet life. I'm so proud of her. So proud of her. But yeah, man, that's all that is from me. Let's get into People's Journal.
All right, people, welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. There are a few things I want to mention today, but I'm kind of going to breeze through them because they kind of are straight to the point. So I did mention this before in one of the headlines, and this is about Labour pledging to basically bolster the power of the OBR. For those who don't know, the OBR is the Office for Budget Responsibility, right? And they were bypassed, right, when Liz Truss and Kwesi Kwarteng put out their budget. And that, because people knew it was bypassed, that panel, that watchdog, I should say, people thought there was something untoward. And I think that's what also contributed to why the market pretty much collapsed like it did under Liz Truss. So Labour's pretty much saying, look, in the future, we want to put more powers in place so that ministers can't just have budgets and say, you know what, for today, I don't want to listen to what their analysis is. I'm just going to put something forward to the people, and that's it, right? So Labour's saying, no, we're not going to allow that. We want to give them more powers. Granted, if the Tory party gets in power or another party gets in power, they can always reverse it. You know what I'm saying? But at least it hopefully will start some type of precedence, right? That's the first thing. Next thing is, remember I was talking about interest rates, the base rate potentially being increased, I should say. Well, surprisingly, it hasn't, man. The Bank of England have kept it, they've just left it, man, left it unchanged. For those who don't know, this freeze ends a run of 14 straight increases. Every time it's increased, we pretty much spoke about it on the show. The interest rates currently are 5.25%, which is already the highest that it's been in 15 years. But at least I feel like this is a positive sign that they are believing that things are kind of under control. And like I was saying yesterday, at least it doesn't appear that they're trying to be too aggressive in their approach to reducing inflation. You know what I'm saying? They are kind of happy with how things are looking. Last month, as we also spoke about yesterday, inflation did go down, but people are suspecting that next month it will go up because we already know this month there was an increase in fuel prices. You know what I'm saying? So that will definitely contribute to next month's figures. But at least it does look like there is some, you know what I mean, light at the end of the tunnel and whatnot. Next thing I wanted to mention is, apparently, whenever you buy like certain foods that are branded, I mean, this is pretty much common sense. We all know that when you buy certain brands and brand names, right, in Tesco or whatever, you're going to be paying more than if it was not branded.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is, according to some new research, that you are pretty much paying or could be paying 3 times more.
For the unbranded.
No, for the branded.
Oh, branded, yeah.
But 3 times though.
Makes sense, man.
It's crazy.
Brand names hold a lot of weight, man.
100% true. 100% true. So yeah, according to which they analysed prices for almost 26,000 food and drink products, right? During this whole inflation period, and what they're saying, and this was basically at 8 major supermarkets. So Aldi, Asda, Lidl, Morrison's, Ocado, Sainsbury's, Tesco, Waitrose, all of them, and pretty much decided that, look, on these staple items like rice, spaghetti, baked beans, tea bags, things of that nature, if you want to go for the branded names, you are going to be paying 3 times more. So guys, I guess there is some type of hint there that if you want the same product, you rely on it in your house on a day-to-day, whatever, just buy the unbranded one. It's pretty much going to be the same.
Pretty much.
To some degree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's no need spending 3 times more. Next thing I wanted to mention is, where was it? Today marks iPhone 15 coming out.
Yeah, I just got an email actually from Apple.
Yeah, man, it's iPhone 15. You already said you're not going to get it, innit?
I
What are
might.
you thinking?
I'm on the 12 Pro Max, so my phone's kind of old and it is acting up. So I'm thinking about getting a new phone. I don't know if it depends. Can this phone last another year or last me another 6 months? But potentially.
How do you do yours? Do you buy the phone separate, or do you do the upgrade?
This one I did. Normally I'll upgrade it, but because I got friends and family discount, I just got just the SIM.
The phone.
So this particular phone, I bought it outright.
Okay. I think, to be fair, that's always the better, cheaper way, innit? Cost-effective way, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, for those who are interested, the iPhone 15 drops today. I think we spoke about some of the differences on this particular model compared to the previous one or previous ones, and the main thing is the whole cable. You know what I'm saying? Now it uses a USB-C cable. To be fair to people, if you are thinking of getting an iPhone 15 and you want to get the normal versions, so the normal iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus, i.e. not the Pro versions, you still get the USB-C, but the data transfer won't be as fast. So if you are thinking, and that's one of the reasons why you want to get the iPhone 15, bear that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Don't get the version that's going to be kind of normal data speeds. Like, you're not really going to benefit, really. Get the iPhone, get the Pro versions, if that's something that really matters to you. The whole, what's that thing called? Is it the active bar or something? I can't remember the actual name for it.
Oh yeah, the one. Oh, sorry, the
Oh,
one
you've
where
got
you're
it on your
silent
one,
with it.
innit?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's it called?
I don't know.
What,
I
is
just
it-
know it's the one
is
on the side where you
No,
do the
not
silence.
not that one. You know where you're
What the switch thing?
no, you know on the actual screen,
Oh, on the screen.
you've got like a bar across here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that thing there, that black bar across. You know what it's called?
where the camera is.
Yeah. Basically, that particular thing is interactive
With what?
on the iPhone 15. But I thought it was interactive on the 14 as well.
What's it meant to do?
What bar? Are you talking about this?
Yeah, but basically on the newer ones from
Yeah.
the 14,
Yeah.
it's actually an interactive thing. That
Oh no,
you
it
press.
is. It is because that's your Face ID.
Is that the only thing that it does though?
Yeah, because I think that's your Face ID part.
You got a 14, right?
I think 14 Pro. I think something like that.
No,
It has
don't think
notifications and stuff
no,
on
the
it.
camera,
It's got
the camera's there.
notifications,
You know.
Yeah, it has like if I'm playing Spotify, it will come up there.
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's active on here now as well.
Yeah, but I thought you already had it though.
I do. So when I'm on, like Brent was saying, if I'm on Spotify and stuff like that,
Yeah,
it comes up and
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah. So basically, that is on the iPhone 15, but they've expanded the
What it can
usage
do.
of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's another feature, and like you guys rightly said, the mute button that you guys are used to as being a mute thing, it's the action button now. So if you press that, you can assign what that particular button does for you. So if you wanted to, for example, shoot certain pictures in a particular mode that you're used to, instead of always having to go to camera, find a setting, you could set that particular setting as your action thing. So every time you take out your phone, press that button, it's there, ready to take a picture. You can also set it to be Spotify, whatever it may be. So those are some of the other features. Also, on the Apple Watch, there's certain gesture controls. So now you can maybe change the song, right, just by doing this. With your
Oh, you mean on the screen?
No, with your, like how I'm doing it now.
What do you mean? Just in front, yeah.
Yeah, with your finger.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
with
with the new phone.
the watch hand?
Yeah, with the watch hand.
Oh.
Yeah, with the watch hand.
Okay.
Yeah. So certain things to make it easier for you. So let's just say you're cooking or something.
Yeah.
You don't want to think you could just do that or something, and then it'll just change it for you, or pause the song, or pick up the phone call.
I wonder how that's.
How that's gonna work?
Yeah. It's also on the Samsung, by the way, so I think they might have copied it from Samsung. I'm not too sure.
But then they do copy some things.
Yeah, all the time. But basically, those are some of the features. If you are interested, you can look into that. Next thing I wanted to mention, we spoke about Microsoft trying to get the whole Call of Duty thing, the acquisition of the takeover of Activision Blizzard, right? There was some Watchdog thing involved where they weren't allowing Microsoft to buy it because they were talking about competition and all that type of stuff, right? Long story short, it looks like everything's back on track for them to actually do the sale, right? What they were saying is the Watchdog launched a new inquiry last month, right, when there was a new remedy suggested that would see the Call of Duty makers, Activision, right, some of their cloud streaming rights outside the EU were being sold to another company. There's some other complicated crap here, but basically, long story short, the Watchdog, the Competition and Markets Authority, they were the ones who were saying, we're not going to allow you guys to buy this particular company. Because essentially, it's kind of like Amazon being able to buy every single company. And that means it reduces competition and they just become more and more powerful. They just have a monopoly of the entire market. They didn't want Microsoft to kind of have that type of power because of certain things. Long story short, they've tweaked certain things in the contract, and it looks like they'll be able to buy Activision Blizzard for £55 billion soon. So not yet, but soon. So yeah, long story short, that's the situation with that. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, that's it for the People's Journal.
Lovely. Let's get into Sis What Would You Do? Okay. Hi, girls. Please don't read out my name. Long-time listener of the show, and I hope one day I'm able to watch it live in the mornings. So I've been dating this guy for 7 months now, and he's perfect. Really everything that a woman could want in a guy. My best friend has even told me that she thinks he's going to ask me to marry him, as he's been asking her questions that she feels relates to popping that question. I can't stress enough how much this filled me with joy. I've not had any luck with decent men over the years, as I fall into that stereotypical bracket like Gina of liking bad boys. But this man is everything. I'm 36, turning 37 in November, and I honestly nearly gave up on finding my life companion. Anyway, the dilemma is that last night he told me that a girl he was linking before we met has just sent him a text saying that she's due to deliver a baby next week, and it's his. As you can imagine, this shocked me to my very core. Apparently, this girl hadn't told him anything when he cut it off. Apparently this girl hadn't told him anything when he cut it off with her. He's furious, but he's told me that he needs to be present in that child's life, as that's his responsibility as a man and father. He's asked me to take some time to process this information, and when I'm ready, get back to him about whether I'm still open to us building a family together. I can't describe how heartbroken I am with this news, especially as I feel this woman is going to be a real thorn going forward, as he has told me that she has expressed a desire to change their arrangement to boyfriend and girlfriend many times. So I believe she's going to be using the baby to achieve that same goal. Have you got any advice for me here? I feel ashamed to say that this doesn't feel as perfect and whole as I wanted it to. Just last week, everything was perfect. Now it feels different, tainted, and I feel my fear that I won't find another man like this is forcing me to consider something that I may resent later down the line. I'm really conflicted, girls. Anyone in the community, if you've been through something like this before, please share your experience if you feel able. Thank you. Damn, indeed. I think what you need to do is, as he's suggested, is you need to take time. You need to take time to figure out what it is that you want. Take time to figure out if you can move forward with the situation. I think a positive is that it's not like he got her pregnant while he was with you. It happened before you. So there is that as well. So essentially, I think about it. I think if he knows he doesn't want to be with her, as in the woman, the child's mother, if he doesn't want to be with the child's mother, despite her wanting to be with him, he's going to have to factor that into the fact that he's got a girlfriend and this other woman is trying to be with him, right? So that means that strict boundaries need to be set. I believe that if boundaries are set from the get-go, we can have a peaceful situation. If it's a thing where she's going to start using the baby against him or whatever, he will have to take her to court from early then. We can sort this out. Like, we can have something in writing. But I think that you need to have a conversation with him about what it is, what your fears are. Let him know the fact that you've told me in the past that she wants your arrangement to be different. So how are you going to move forward co-parenting with her and ensuring that boundaries are set where there's no foolishness going on, essentially? And honestly, you have to take the time. When it comes to people, you have to take the time. You just have to take time to think about it, think about how it is that you can move forward. And also if there's something that you can do, I don't think that you should, if there's something that you really, really can't do, I don't think you should beat yourself up about it and say to yourself that you're never going to find something, that you're never going to find someone like him again. I personally feel like that is valid enough to go ahead with something that you may build resentment with over time. That's just me personally. I don't believe in that kind of stuff, because my thing is, even if I leave somebody and I don't find somebody else, I know that I'm confident that I left that situation because it wasn't good for me. So whether I find somebody, I don't find somebody, I will sit in the fact that didn't work for me though. Regardless of whatever happens after, that didn't serve me. So that is that. So I honestly think you need to think about it, because at the end of the day, this child is also going to be in your life as well. If it is that you do marry him or whatever, you're going to be the stepmother to this child. You're going to have to watch this child and whatever else. Birthdays are going to be there. Christmases are going to be there. The child, God forbid, child has emergencies and they need to go to hospital, school plays. Being with somebody who has a kid is not a joke. So I would just say, honestly, you have to think about it and think about it. Just sit down and think about it. I think the fact that as well, that he told you straight away, you got to give him a credit for that. I can't even lie to you, because niggas be lying.
Can I just say something?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just to articulate what people are saying in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Some are saying, well, a couple of people are saying, are we sure that he told her straight away? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like she would have said if she didn't.
No. I mean, she may think that's the case.
Yeah.
But are we sure that he didn't withhold this information from her? You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming that he didn't, because of how she said he's a great guy and this, that, and the third. So I'm assuming that's the case. Also,
but you know what? I would give him grace for that.
Yeah, same.
Because being told you're a father,
yeah,
boy, and you're out here being a city boy, that's intense.
Yeah,
so even if it was a thing where he needed time to process that information, I personally would give him grace for that, because that's a big life-changing thing to get told.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, I would give him grace for it.
And what the girl only told him a week before the baby's due. Right? That's what it says here.
Yeah.
That's kind of despicable, no?
Of course.
Yeah.
No, but she wants that man. So she's having the day she deserves.
You think she told him a week before on purpose?
Yeah, because ma'am, you've spent 8 months and 3 weeks. Let's just say it's 9 months, right?
Yeah.
All these months you didn't think to tell the father that he's having a child.
She didn't want to hear anything about abortions or nothing.
Yeah, probably.
No, but the thing is, okay, I get that, but she could have told him even past the limit to have the abortion.
Mm-hmm.
What, that's like 3 months, in it? 12 weeks.
Crazy.
So she could have started from the 13th week.
Crazy.
I think not telling, but maybe, do you know what? Maybe she just never wanted to tell him because it didn't work out. She wasn't going to tell him. And then maybe her friends had to convince her, like, girl, that child is going to need their father. So maybe she needs some kind of convincing. Yeah. But telling somebody a week before the baby's due is wild. That changes everything.
100%.
I can't even afford this. If he had prior notice, say he can't afford it. If he had prior notice, he could have done things to get a new job, whatever.
I'm gonna assume, and I want to take this dilemma as verbatim, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna assume that he already knew about the baby and decided to tell her that she told him that the baby due next week. That's just how I feel. I don't know why. Because telling someone that you actually want to be with, that you're having a baby next week, it's not fitting of someone who wants to be with you. But
that's why I believe him, because I feel like if he'd known for time, I don't feel like he would give her the time he would say to her, have some space to think about it. I think it's a big thing to give someone space to think about something that affects both of you that you might end up coming up short in. Do you get what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. I want to take everything that she's saying as a case as well.
Yeah.
But to Yusuf's point though, if he holds on to the information, it does make it difficult for her to say no or to leave. because now she's more invested.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why.
And so he may not want her to leave. You know what I'm
the
saying?
thing,
Because he actually wants
But
her.
that's why I don't feel like he would have given her. He would have said to her, "Take the time you need to do that."
I know you say that.
Because you got to suffocate.
No, you gotta say it. You just add it.
Men
Because
don't
the thing
think that
is,
to me,
let's
boy.
just say he found out that his ex or the ex girl was pregnant from when she got pregnant,
Yeah,
right? And it was the beginning of their relationship.
yeah.
He might have known. If I tell her now,
He's gonna run in
she's
it.
out
Yeah,
the door.
gone.
If I tell her in 9 months' time and she grows to like me, love me, we build a bond and a relationship, then she'd be less likely to leave.
But then, how is she gonna find out then?
What do you mean?
If he withheld it, or if he's been honest?
What do you mean?
Like, how's she gonna find out whether he's been knowing, or if he
no,
actually just found out?
She ain't. This is just a theory. She ain't gonna
You
find
got to
out.
pray by sis.
You just either got to ask
Someone
him.
said
Just,
in the chat that she could have asked to see the text or something.
Yeah, but that's just being a bit.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
showing you don't trust him.
Yeah,
and
that's
all
showing you
that
don't trust
stuff.
him.
Yeah.
Show me.
Sorry, didn't you guys just say that he's probably lying?
Precisely.
No.
Yeah, but from her perspective, if I tell you my ex is having a baby, the first thing shouldn't be show me the text. Then let me see. Like, no, I'm telling
No,
you.
I feel like that's the first time to do it because oh my gosh, let me see the message. What? I'm in shock.
Nah, don't try to frame
my
it like that.
gosh.
Don't try to make it sound nice.
Nah, you gotta get your acting skills out.
About
Because I'll be
show
honest-
me. Nah.
No, to be fair, I'll be honest. I feel like even now, if she asks for the text, I don't think it's too much. I'm trying to decide whether I want to spend my future with you,
Yeah.
the baby mum, because the woman's gonna be in our lives forever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide if I want to spend like nothing I ask you for at this point to prove to me that I should be going in, I should be doing this journey with you is too much. You're gonna have to firm it.
Yeah.
You got baby. You got to firm it, baby. Let me see the text. I need the receipts.
It's mad.
All right. So if he knew,
Or meet her.
So if he knew the whole entire time,
Yeah, that's mad.
would that change anything for you?
Absolutely.
And
If
he's-
if he knew that, if he knew the whole time,
Yeah.
sis, you need to leave. He's not an honest man. I don't give him grace for that.
You know, the reason why I just don't think a girl was telling a man a week before the baby's born.
They are.
No, yeah,
No, these are they are.
100%.
Yeah, plenty.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not,
no,
no, I'm not saying
They're
that.
telling him on the day.
I'm not saying that
Yes.
can't. I'm not saying that can't happen. But I feel like she said, she feels like the girlfriend or the ex is going to use the baby to get back with him. Like she wants to
Yeah.
be with him again.
But that's the
I
thing.
think
Is
that's-
saying
that's
that
why
she
she
would have
kept
used
it.
that.
I think if you want to be with someone, like I'm talking about the girl
Yeah.
who's pregnant. If you want to be with someone, why are you going to tell them a week before the baby's due? You tell them before, no?
That is the point. Because if she wants to be with him,
Yeah.
because she would have tried to use the baby to trap him.
From the beginning, you ain't going to tell a guy that you actually want
I'll
to
be
be
honest.
with. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm having a baby next week. That doesn't make no sense.
But you may.
Like,
What you could
as
do
a
is
man,
even-
I'll be rattled. I don't want to be with you.
No, but
What
what
are
you
talking
could do
about?
is
might
even like,
basically get her to
get an abortion.
Get an abortion.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm not getting it. Then.
Days, 100%.
That's why she got.
Yeah, but we
sure.
ascertain that you don't have to tell her. You can tell her after what? After
12 weeks.
12 weeks. You don't have to wait 9 months
No, we're
to
talking
tell.
about you can still get an abortion after like what
100%.
24, right? 6 months.
Okay, 24. Whatever it is, it's not a week to the baby
no, of
due.
course not, 100% not.
Because
yeah.
he's
Anything can happen.
That's
We're
true.
forgetting.
That happened, a real life story.
he's gonna ask, why didn't you tell me before? Why are you telling me now? That's gonna cause problems. The girl can't come and
Yeah.
tell me I'm having a baby next week.
Because you know what
You've
makes
known
it
for 9
tricky?
months.
Do you know what makes it tricky is that I've known women who told men literally last like, I'm on my way to the hospital. You have the baby. I've known women who also, because they're not with this guy, they're like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with the drama of all of this. I'm just gonna do this myself and just deal with it.
Yeah.
And then there's people, and they go forth and do it, and it's a great life. But there's also ones where they're like, I'm gonna do it myself, and then the family is like, no, you shouldn't. And then someone snakes, a friend
Exactly.
snakes, or people
Last
try and
minute,
convince
yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
with her, I can see how she probably wouldn't have told him a week before if it was a thing where she's like, I'm gonna do it myself by myself, and then everyone's like, no, you're being out of order because he deserves to know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, because also as well, I'm gonna say this because her narrative about the girl wanting to be with the guy
Yeah.
is coming from the guy. Men always think women like them when we don't. I'm gonna be very honest with you. So, Jeremy, it's not as if like the girl's ever stalked them or she sent something to them. You're going off what he's told you about his ex that things didn't work out with. You got to take those stories a pinch of salt. Do you get what I mean? You got to take it with a pinch of salt. So even that, like, is this girl actually someone that wants to get back with the guy? Because that Yusuf was saying, actually, that's a proper point. If she wanted to get back with him and she wants to use baby as a way to do that, sis would have done that from even before she got pregnant. Then tries to get pregnant while he's back with her now.
I think there's different ways, man.
There's different ways, but I don't see how.
Because remember, women, yeah. Obviously, I'm trying to speak for women here. If they want the guy that much,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of them think if I've got the kid at any time along this child's life up to 18, I have a chance. I have priority.
Women are
in
not
his
doing
life.
that.
What?
100%.
You sort of sitting down, wait,
telling
lying
you-
in wait for 18 years.
No, because you feel as though you have the right to demand certain things from him because he's the father of your kid.
Down
so you
bad.
always have that thingy there.
Down
so,
bad.
You know what I'm saying?
You mean romantically?
Yeah. Also, I think other things like, financially, stuff like that, but also
money-wise,
romantically. Because it will always, not always, but a lot of the time, I feel like a lot of women feel as though, you know what? The ideal situation is you are the father of my kid.
Yeah.
I'm the mother of this kid.
Yeah.
If we want to, especially if we had a decent relationship before, we can make this work.
You know why? Because I think a lot of women think men are weak in it, so they feel like they can have a man whenever they want. Especially if I have your baby.
There you go.
Like, yeah, he's my baby father, but I can have him whenever I want.
Exactly.
At least if it's sexually, whatever. It might not be relationship-wise,
These are down bad, you know.
but I think women believe that she can just have him whenever she wants.
To be fair, I feel like it's both ways, innit? 'Cause I've heard guys, I've heard men with that got kids by other women that like, oh yeah, like that they feel like that's like it's like a possessive thing of that's my girl.
Don't get me wrong, men feel the same way too.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
100%.
So you can't be with people that've got kids, man.
Can
Leave everyone to their mess.
can I say something, yeah? Do you feel as though, because if this woman is the type of woman to kind of just be like, look, I definitely want him,
Yeah.
potentially she could be lying about the kid, not in terms of being pregnant, but the kid being his. Should she stick around when a baby's born, make sure you do a DNA test, and then really we don't even have to deal with this?
Do you know what
Because
it
we've
is,
seen
yeah?
the stats.
I think he
a lot
should,
of men are raising kids. It's
I
not
think
theirs.
he should definitely do a DNA test. A
That's
girl can't come to
that's
you
for him to do.
who hasn't been in your life for
Yeah,
a
X
year
amount of
plus
time.
and tell you that you're having your baby. No, you got to have a
There you
test,
go.
100%.
But my thing is, well, I'll be honest, as the girlfriend, the one who is trying to think, sorry, my mom's confusing me. Sorry, the one who the girlfriend, the one who wrote that lemon.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's not for me to be asking you to do DNA tests.
No,
I ain't got-
he'll probably do it as well.
Yeah, but he
But-
should. But I'm not gonna be the one to bring up to him. I'll be honest.
No.
Obviously, I'm taking into account her age. I know
I was
that's
thinking-
when I
I was
speak
thinking
about
that as well.
not dying for men. I have that luxury, just because of how God created me anyway. Men are not the hill to die on anyway. But this is messy.
Yeah. because
This here,
She's turning 37.
this is messy. 1 week.
3 years from 40. Do you really want to
Bro.
be like this? Decision has to be like foolproof, innit? Because you're wasting time if not.
And I think maybe sit down with him and actually be like, listen, bro, when did you really find out? 'Cause I feel like let him know if he's someone who cares about you the way you're saying he does. He's been talking to your friends about like proposals and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like if he's that intentional, you got to sit down with him and be like, listen, I like you. I like what we've been building here. But you have to be very, very honest with me to know everything that I need to know. Because if I find out that anything has changed, it's going to be very different. Because obviously you're going to get to meet the woman.
Yep.
I mean, you might want to have a conversation with her and all when you finally meet her. Like, oh, so when did you tell him that? Like, have that conversation. But you have to let him know that the least he can do is be completely honest and transparent with you about the facts of this case. Because my life just been great past 7 months. Then 1 week the baby is due. Now you got a baby. That affects our finances as a couple. That affects our whole dynamic. Now we've got to be babysitting and whatever else. And then what does this look like moving forward?
I was gonna say as well,
It's too messy, man.
how hard is it to have a relationship with a man who has a newborn baby? Because that's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of you and the mother being together, co-parenting at that stage. Yeah. That's tough. Like you're not his priority.
You're
at
not.
all.
That's
You
why
know what I mean?
that's why I said, sis, you need to take that time.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. And that's why you like whatever it is that you choose to do, I don't think that your age, I don't think that the fact that you've been waiting for a man should be the factor in that. Because you can make that decide you want to go ahead with this man and be living in resentment. There's too many things that's going to come up. Too many milestones going to be celebrated. Too many things where he might have to cancel a date with you last minute because this with the kid and whatever. And over time, that's going to build resentment. And you will honestly be better off single, if I'm being honest. But I think you really need to take the time and think about this objectively. Actually spend time away. When people take time, spend time away from the person. Don't be having sex with them and trying to think. It doesn't work. Spend time away from the person, but also have a sit down with him and just ask him all the questions that you have and be like, you need to be completely transparent and honest with me. Because this is too much drama. I don't like drama. This is too much. This is too much.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Oh.
But let's assume she's a great judge of character. She's met this guy. She's been with him, spent obviously loads of time with him.
Yeah.
But it has been 7 months, fine. But she's saying he's perfect. So she has no reason to doubt him, doubt his word. He's probably, you know what I'm saying, like all the good things that you're looking for. For you to say this man is perfect, he's done an amazing job, right? So let's assume everything he said to her is facts. Going off that.
It's a big assumption.
It is, but she's still saying, you know what I'm saying, he's perfect. Not just
Yeah,
a
but
great
sometimes
guy.
do you know what it is?
he's
Do you know
perfect.
what it is? I take people saying something is perfect with a pinch of salt. Because things are perfect in it because you want it to be perfect while you're in it. When you step out is when you start to realize how imperfect something is. Not saying that it's a bad, toxic situation, but you start to realize that this was not as perfect as you made it seem in your mind. So because of that, when people say the relationship is perfect or he's a great guy, I take it with a pinch of salt because people would tell you someone's a great guy, then start telling you the problems they have in a relationship. And I'm like, ma'am,
100%.
ain't nothing great about this disrespect you're
Also,
facing.
she's saying that it doesn't feel as perfect and as whole as it did
Anymore,
last week.
Yeah.
So that perfectness has been shattered because
It's
now
yeah.
he's having a baby, and you probably wanted to have his first baby.
There's
Yeah.
that
As opposed to
too.
now another woman has his baby, and you're just trying to, you know, pick up the pieces kind of
That's
thing.
another thing. A lot of women feel passionate about that. About like, I wanted to be the first one to have his baby,
Yeah.
and that's something some women can't look past because obviously memories and whatever else. It's a tricky situation. It's messy. I'm so sorry you're going through this, but honestly, time is what will help you think about this objectively, man. That's what you really need to do, and away from everything because. I mean, to be fair, you can, to be honest as well, no one's stuck in any situation. I don't believe people being stuck in situations. I believe people are replaceable human beings. As one gone, another one born. What is it Mark says? But, so even if he was to, even if you wanted to do like a trial period without telling him it's a trial period,
Yeah.
if the situation gets messy, you see that she's calling at all hours of the night, she's moving mad, you can pack your bag. It might be even easier for you to heal through that because you have first-hand experience that this was some bullshit and you just not trying to get involved. So I don't feel like whatever decision you make is final, per se. But I think that whereas before the baby popped up, 7 months, I guess you were ready to settle down with him, you got to give it a bit more time now for things to play out and see what the dynamic is like before you rush into engagement and rush into settling down.
But yeah, I feel like the sentiment for her is like, when she's saying that, it feels tainted.
It is, man. Because
I mean-
it is, man. It's just drama now.
Yeah.
If you're telling me this girl she wants you, now I'm out by the door waiting for because you're going to drop the kid, and now you're there and you're telling me there's traffic. Was there traffic? Or was you just occupied? It's a whole thing, man. I'm sorry.
Do you know the thing is, I'm not trying to start no trouble, right? But I feel like what Esther said earlier is kind of true. At 37, you don't necessarily have the luxury of someone in their 20s, right?
Yeah.
Let's just be truthful about this, right? Do you feel like, because obviously, like, yeah, people are
I
kind
think
of.
I kind of feel like where you're going, but
Do you feel like, because the reason, all right, for those who are listening, who are not seeing the chat, right? The chat, especially the women, some of the women are saying, wait a minute, why are you going through all of this at 37? And I said, well, 37 is not young, you know. Like,
It's not young, but it's not old.
yeah, it's not young,
it's not 45, but it's still an age where I think women who are 37, who want families and stuff, still, they don't want to waste their time.
Yeah, but
So,
you know what
so
it is?
guys, don't think she's 27.
No, it's not about that.
And
Because
she's saying
it's like,
her age for a reason.
no, but it's not about that. Because it's like, yeah, you want to have the family, whatever, but at what cost? So she
That's
stays
what I'm
with this guy now. His situation is a mess.
Mm-hmm.
The baby mom is dramatic. He doesn't have to deal with it. He's now become dramatic. Now you're seeing a different side to him that you didn't even know existed because he's reacting to whatever foolishness at his door. But you got kids. So I'm 37 with kids, with the family that I wanted, but my life, I have no peace of mind. It's not worth it. The age thing, we put too much on age, and that's what causes women to make poor decisions that they shouldn't make and compromise situations they shouldn't make. I don't agree with that.
you know where I thought you were going? I thought you were going to tell her to settle
Oh, no.
because she's 37.
No,
and
no.
That's what he's
that-
kind of saying, though.
Huh?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that people in the chat shouldn't be so quick to say, oh, you know, it's not that big of a problem. Just go and live your life. She's mentioned that she's 37 for a reason. I think that's one of the considerations, right? Because, for example, at 37, you're not trying to have a talking stage for a year. At 27, you might. You know what I'm saying? So women who are younger
Should
in
never
their
talk
20s.
at any stages for a
again?
year.
Say again?
No one should be doing talking stage for that long.
Talking stage for
Yeah, but you
crazy.
get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So women who are in their 20s shouldn't be so quick to say to her, "Oh, come on, 37, you can just," you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why she's mentioning it. And if they were to get married, she's 37 in November, have a kid, first kid at 38. How many kids do you want? So I think she's considering, I now have to start again, especially if she's saying, for 37 years, I've not found a guy like this before. So
But you know what is?
I'm not saying to settle.
I get what you're saying, but the undertone of what you're saying is is settling.
No, it's more so me kind of saying to people in the chat, don't be so quick to say to her.
I think don't dismiss.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't dismiss her struggles because everyone's struggle is there. But at the same time, I personally don't feel like because of my age and what it is I want, that means I should settle for a media relationship because I'm going to suffer longer in that media relationship. And it's not, personally, I don't believe that's worth it. I don't believe being with somebody. I don't the whole time thing when it's like, oh, you're gonna be 40 soon, you're gonna be this soon, or whatever it is, and then rushing and settling in situations. For me, I feel like that's very less than smart decision to make, regardless of whatever it is that you want from it.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it objective. I don't feel like it's the end of the world. There are people that find love at 50 something. You can adopt children. There's different ways that, yes, I know people say it's not the norm and it's best to have your kids when you're 18 and ripe. Personally, I don't believe in all that. I don't believe in all of that stuff. It's better for you to have a kid later and go through trials and whatever it is and have a miracle baby at 45 than have a kid at 37 that is in a broken home and now all of you have to gather money around for therapy because that child is damaged. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
And also, I feel like, because he's got a child now and essentially a family, that's going to may delay him wanting another family with her. Because remember, he has to bear the responsibilities of both families now. If he obviously takes care of his child and builds with her too. So that might delay her plans.
That is 100% true.
Because he just had a baby. Yeah. So when is he ready for another baby?
That's very true.
You know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you though, and I'm definitely assuming, right? 100% assuming. So please forgive me, right, guys, right? But a part of me feels that some of the categories that she's ticked off that says he's perfect is that he earns a decent amount of money. I'm just assuming that.
That's
right?
needed though.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that. The reason why I say that is because he may not necessarily mind having that baby with her ASAP. Yeah. Because he can afford it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
possible.
I'm not necessarily seeing that as a main thing, but it's 100% a good point. 100%.
Yeah, I don't think it's the main thing, but I definitely think it's something to consider. Especially because this baby was a surprise to him, if we're to believe that it was. Right.
True,
so
indeed.
it wasn't like he was planning for this baby.
No.
He found out a week before. So now he has to adapt quickly and change his plans because he's having a baby on the way. That's huge.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's a tough one, man. I feel for him,
It is, man. But love and light, all involved.
So if she's to be single after this, right? And you're saying it's better off being single.
Yeah.
Isn't it just like better to chance it with the next year and see how it goes with the guy and see if things change or things can be managed instead of being single for that particular year?
It could be, but I did say that though to her that you don't feel like you're like whatever decision you make, you're stuck in it. I said she could do a trial period, but not let him know that she's doing a trial period. Just be with him to gauge what the dynamic is like, how it's running, him, his relationship with the other woman and the baby and whatever. I mentioned that she could have a trial period, but don't tell him it's a trial period because he'll be on his best behavior. You got to see them for what they really like. There is that, but the thing is as well, if it doesn't work, if she knows that it can't work, but she decides to go for a trial period just because I'd rather not be single for a year. I personally feel like if you know something's not going to work and you decide to just chance it for a year, that personally feels like a waste of time for me than if I was single and I didn't end up with somebody after that year. If I'm single from now to a year's time, I will work on myself. I can meet other people. Like, there's a lot more chances that are here for me that if I stay with this person that I know is not really in my heart to stay with them, but I want to see what might be. If that doesn't work out, I now have to spend time healing from that situation because I've made more memories now. My feelings for this person are much deeper than when it was back then. I feel like, personally, you're at a bigger disadvantage at that point than you are if you remain single for the whole year because you knew you couldn't hack it.
Someone in the chat says, don't date a man that has a child under 3. Is it because...
They be sleeping with the baby mums.
Oh, is that what it is?
I've heard
That's
that.
what the streets say.
That notion before as well.
It's what they... We didn't say it. It's what they say.
Under 3.
Under 3, Brent.
They're sleeping with the baby mom.
Personally, I'd even go under 5. But
5
under 7.
years.
Under 7.
So,
Because this ownership thing people do, and I think it's so weird.
would you date a man that has a child
Yes, but it depends how old the child is.
above 3? Is that your stipulations?
Do you know what it is?
5.
There's other things, because is she in a happy relationship? Is she in a relationship, or does she want you back?
So
If
that
he's the one who left her,
so that would matter to you.
yes.
But how about if it is he hates her? It doesn't matter, just as long as it is she loves him?
No, because I can't do with a guy as well who calls his baby mama like a bitch and all that kind of stuff as well. I don't believe in that.
Suppose
you have to have a good
she is
relationship.
not a good person and he doesn't like her.
That's fair, but
You have to throw in the bitch stuff. He doesn't talk about her to you. But each time she tries to do something, he's like, oh, shit, the witch is doing something again.
yeah, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear the witches doing something. That's your child's mother.
Suppose she's a witch though.
No, but that's your child's mother. I think you have some respect.
Suppose she's the wife of a babalawo.
That's your child's mother. Have some respect. You didn't know. You
So
did not know she was a witch when you were laying down with her.
No calling her any
When you was deep in there, you didn't know that.
But some people are not nice people.
I understand. I get that, but I don't want to hear you berating the mother of your children. You can't do that in my presence. I don't allow that.
Would you ever do it?
No, I don't believe in stuff like that.
If you see that the woman is a bad person and the
I would
woman
not
is
do that to him.
purposely
I would not-
deciding to do things that are
When
bad
I'm at brunch,
and is
I'm telling my
causing
girls-
your boyfriend stress, would you have bad words to say about this woman?
I will say, but not to him. Not to him. That is the mother of his child. I'm not cussing the mother of his child, even though we all know what her character's like. I'm not adding my 2 pence to add fuel to the fire that we all know, that even though we all know is facts. I'm not doing that. I don't believe in that. You cannot cuss me. You cannot cuss your child's mother in my presence.
I like
You cannot
what you're
cuss your
saying.
ex-girlfriend in my
I
presence.
like what you're saying.
I don't believe in all
what
that
you're
stuff.
Suppose, obviously I'm adding a whole set of hypotheticals.
You loving
here.
it.
Because I do believe that there's an opportunity for you to basically call her a witch if she's behaving like a witch. Suppose she starts spreading rumors about you.
That's different. I will confront her. That's different.
So you still wouldn't say that she's lying, she's a witch?
No, but that's different though, because she's done something to harm me. The questions you're asking me is about their relationship
No, I've
and
just
what's
changed
happened
it.
with them.
I've just
No,
changed
but that's
it.
different then. Because that's like if anyone was cussing me and I would respond the way I would respond to anybody.
And this is what I'm saying. It just happens to be that there is a child involved now. Suppose she's an actual animal, and she actively even looks to prevent him from seeing the child.
Yeah, then
and he's there complaining, and you're like, don't complain about your baby.
I didn't
mom
say
to me."
don't complain. I'm saying don't be calling her names in my presence. You can complain about what somebody's doing to you. She's being unreasonable. She's not doing she's being wicked, blah blah. But you do not need to be calling her all sorts of bees,
She's
hoes,
being
and
wicked.
witches.
No, forget about the bitches and the
She is
hoes.
being wicked
Forget
though.
about-
But anyone can be wicked, and anyone can be called up for being
But
wicked.
would this play out in real time, or will you just think it? Just to say he's distraught,
No,
he's
no, I
upset,
would-
and
100%
he
real
says
time.
something. Would you be like, don't call her that?
100% real time. I can't, because it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm not going to let you keep going. Then when I tell you tomorrow, you tell me then, but you sat through it yesterday though. So what's changed? I like to bring things up right then, so we are aware
I wanna
that
be
it's a
vulnerable and
problem.
transparent with my beeps. So if
That's
I
good
ever
for
feel
you.
away, if I feel away,
That's great.
You gonna tell me to pull it up, butter it up,
Brought it up.
butter it up.
No, you can be honest and transparent,
I
but
can't.
you don't.
can't.
Brent,
I'm very descriptive when it is. I feel somebody's done something
that's
wrong
your
to
business.
me.
That is your business. But it's true. There are different factors to whether or not I would date a guy with kids. There's many factors. But if you got all that drama where you don't like each other and you fighting and I don't like drama at all. I don't even take drama in my own personal life. I'm not taking it secondhandly.
Do you feel like sometimes that drama and that hate comes from a place of love?
Yeah, because y'all might just want to get some. All of this that you sort of doing, what is at the root of all of this? If it's not lust.
No, sometimes it could be real, genuine hate. Don't,
No,
don't
sometimes,
get
yeah,
twisted.
sometimes it can be,
Or just dislike. You know what I mean?
but sometimes it's like, yeah, man, it can be 100% can be real, genuine dislike.
Yeah.
But sometimes you are just upset that your relationship didn't work out, and so you're doing whatever it is that you can to be angry at each other. I don't want to be in that kind of mess where you don't feel like if you were given another chance and things were different, you'd work it out. So I'm not a filler. I'm not experimenting. Everyone be guided.
So what's the advice you give to her to take today?
My advice to her is that you need to take some time to think about what it is that you want to do, how you want to move forward. I think before you take that time, have a conversation with him and let him know what your thoughts are and what your worries are, and ask him to be completely honest and transparent with you about when he found out, how he found out, if he ever had a suspicion that she was, if he ever heard a rumor, someone ever said it to him, mentioned it to him that she could have been pregnant, how long ago as well, because if they dated a year ago and the baby's due next week, that ain't his baby. The math ain't mathing. When's the last time they had sex?
No, but they dated, she's only started dating him 7 months ago. So he might
Okay, yeah.
If he knew the whole time and decided not to tell her, what reasons, in your opinion, are plausible?
Nothing.
There's nothing he can say to justify why he only told you a week ago.
No, because I don't like people manipulating my decision making. And if you knew something the whole time and you're telling me it's because you didn't want to lose me, for me that's one of the worst reasons you can give me. You know, that's one of the worst. I'd rather you just said to me, do you know what? I didn't think it was relevant to you. Then tell me that you didn't tell me because you didn't want to lose me. That is manipulation. So if it was a thing where he found out the whole time, my advice would be you got cut. Because that's not an honest person and he will keep more things from you. If you're comfortable enough to have been sleeping next to me for 7 months, been talking, doing all that kind of stuff, and you knew you carry this big secret, that is somebody, in my opinion, that cannot be trusted. That's my advice.
What about the DNA test? Does it factor in anyway?
You got to pray that he will think about it.
Because do it though.
She can't be the one to bring it up because it sounds like she's just a hater.
Not really though. Because you still care about him.
No, because we know what it's for me. Because you're bringing up the DNA in the hopes that it won't be his child, so you guys can go off and live a blissful life. Yeah, man. I don't move like that. I'm not selfish like that.
You think him asking her asking him, are you sure it's yours?
Yeah.
You think that's a bad question?
It's not. I don't think that's my responsibility to do. Personally, I think it's just a bit distasteful.
If I went to my girl and said, "Oh yeah, the girl told me that she's pregnant with me, she's having a baby next week," she's completely within the rights to ask.
Actually, no, yeah, is it yours?
Do you think it's yours? Because I haven't seen this girl for
but DNA
how
test
long?
is different though. I'm speaking to DNA
I know,
test.
but that do you think is yours? Is you planting the seed
That's calm.
of a DNA test? You know
I don't
what
know. For me, I just think you should do your due diligence. You're smarter than that. If you don't think about the last time you had sex with her and do the maths, and you're happy to spend the next 18 years of your life contributing to a child's life that's not yours, you deserve to have the day you have. Because you're dumb. But I feel like as the woman who you know that this has shattered your world, it's very self-centered. Because you know what it is? Because certain things like, I don't know. It's a bit of a conflict of who I'm trying to be and who I was. So I can't really finish my sentence. But yeah, it's a bit tricky.
Okay.
Basically.
Do you think she's considered his feelings at all in this dilemma?
And that's why I said that's where I was struggling with the whole DNA test thing, because it sounds as though you haven't considered how heavy this is on him for me to be bringing up DNA tests. So it's about you're hoping that it's not my child, so we can just go and live a blissful life.
Yeah.
What I'm dealing with, my life has changed. I'm a father. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit tricky.
Do you think this dilemma is selfish then in its entirety?
No. That's why I said there's a bit of a battle between who I was and who I am now, because she is within her rights to know how this is going to affect her.
Yeah,
because it's going to affect her. But at the same time, this becomes some consideration for how he's feeling, but not to the detriment of how I'm going to be feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't think dilemma is selfish. She definitely needs to know. Because it's going to fall on her. She's going to be a stepmom.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it's selfish dilemma.
Yeah.
More so if there are elements of it, or she even took time to consider how he feels about this. Because the thing is, think about it, he's about to be a dad. His whole life has changed, isn't it?
But in her considering how he feels about that, about it, what would that look like in terms of her dilemma?
It might not change, to be fair. Maybe add a bit of sentiments of grace to the fact that he just found out he's having a baby next week.
That's deep.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it, you're his girl and it has effects on you as well, but he just found out he's having a baby. Like, that's whoa.
Yikes. That's a lot, man. I've had a woman that just find out they're pregnant out of nowhere, you know. They go to the doctors because they think they're having food poisoning and they tell them you're in labour. What?
I've seen that happen.
Oh my gosh.
3 times, to be fair.
That's mad.
Like, girls that I know.
That's mad.
Didn't know.
I couldn't hear that.
Say it again? Didn't know what?
So you don't know you're pregnant?
Till when? How late? in the
No,
period?
as in sometimes they think they're ill.
I knew
They go to
someone who
doctors
didn't
and they
know-
call you in labor.
She was pregnant until the day she gave birth.
Yeah. Some woman, yeah, the baby just like coming out of the toilet and she screamed, yeah. And they were like, "You're pregnant."
Was she fluffy?
No, because some people you don't show.
Must have been something.
No, there isn't. These are real life stories with receipts.
Flat belly.
No, flat, like,
Nope.
no, there's nothing there.
Nope.
That's fun.
This is the myth.
You can clearly you can tell me because you got a uterus, isn't it?
That's not rebuttal to what
It is. It is. Because you in women's business. You are in women's business. That's what you're doing.
I get
It's a real thing.
I get his theory though, obviously.
I get his theory, but the thing is, not every woman who is pregnant puts on weight. So it's a stupid theory. Because not every woman who gets pregnant puts on weight.
But
Not every woman gets morning sickness. People call it morning sickness. Some women are sick throughout the day. Some people are sick throughout the entire term. Pregnancy does not look the same for every single woman.
It doesn't, but there has to be a degree of change based off of your original makeup. So let's just say you're Victoria Beckham, Jordan Dunn slim. Mm-hmm. Right? It's harder to believe that someone of that physicality saw no physical change at all to where, you know what I mean? They're...
No, because again, you got to think about women, when women's period are going to have periods and stuff, women get bloated.
Yeah.
So when you're bloated, I'm not going to think anything of that. Women get bloated easily and literally like we look like it feels as though you've put on weight when you're bloated. So if it looks like I'm bloated, I'm just going to think I'm bloated. But there's women who literally have gone to the hospital and they did not know they were pregnant until they were giving birth. And it's like, oh my gosh, and nothing told me that. I've still had periods throughout the pregnancy.
Fluffy.
What have you got to say to that? They had when you're pregnant, you don't meant to have periods, right? But they had periods throughout.
Fluffy.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, very much, man. All the best to her, man.
Yeah, man.
Let us know what you decide if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
genuinely wishing you the very best, man.
Yeah, man. But you guys know the deal. If you want to send your dilemmas in, the number is 075 6484 1073. And if you want to send via email, it's tdasubmissions@thenewblack.com. Do you have an announcement to have done? Should be your second one.
It should be.
Are you too worried? You're too busy worrying about women's uteruses.
No, that's not what it is. Because
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly. You are too busy. You are too busy in women's business to do what it is that you are meant to do. So here you are.
Right.
Here we are. Go on, King.
He might actually sent me a text and asked me to basically chime in. So that's what I was doing.
What you were chiming in instead was something else.
All right, basically, there's an announcement. Do-do-do-do-do. All right, so we're looking for some researchers to join the team and help Emmanuel create the program for the week.
Headlines, man.
Yeah. But obviously, they can also suggest topic of the days, no?
Yeah, definitely. I'm open to
In a detailed manner.
So what, the last group of mods, they all gone? They've all retired, relinquished
Not all. That's half.
their duties?
Half.
Okay.
All right, anybody who wants to participate in the fun behind the scenes, please email Emmanuel or DM him on IG. He has nice pictures on IG. But there are no pictures via email. So, have at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Let's get into our last headlines.
All right. So our last headline, big trigger warning here, guys. And I pretty much feel as though everyone kind of expected this to happen. Anyway, long story short, there's been another person who's come out accusing Russell Brand, right? And this woman's accused him of exposing himself to her and then laughing about it minutes later on his BBC radio show, right? The woman says it happened in 2008 when she was working in the same building as the BBC in LA. The encounter left her stunned, she says. Minutes later, he was recording laughing with his co-presenter who said Brand showed his willy to a lady. Brand has not yet commented on the latest allegation. His co-presenter, Matt Morgan, told the BBC that he was not aware until now of the nature of this encounter. It's the first time that Brand has been accused of sexual misconduct and then heard discussing it. It also raises serious questions for the BBC about how that part of the show, which was pre-recorded, was allowed to be broadcasted days later. The woman never made a formal complaint, and BBC management was informed about the incident in 2019, but no formal action was taken. Imagine. So she... You know what the thing is, yeah? This is why sometimes it's dangerous when you hear certain things come out, because you feel as though it just comes out now. But the fact is she actually went to the BBC in 2019, 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, anyway. In a statement, the BBC said it was sorry to hear the allegations and would investigate them as part of a review into Brand's time at the BBC. 4 other women, for those who don't know, have also accused Brand, who's 48, of sexual assaults and rape between 2006 and 2013. He has denied the claims, saying that his relationships with all these women were always consensual. Next headline. Trigger warning here as well. And a man has been arrested on suspicion of child abduction as a hunt was launched for a missing mother and 2 children. Jamie Lee Kelly, who's 31, left a centre for vulnerable mothers and children in northwest London with her newborn son and a 3-year-old daughter on Tuesday. This according to the Met Police. The children are under care protection orders and were taken from the centre against the wishes of staff. Miss Kelly got into a blue Ford Fiesta, then she just sped off. Police believe the driver of the vehicle was a woman and said neither the driver nor the car has been located. A man in his 50s was arrested in connection with the investigation on Wednesday. He was held on suspicion of child abduction and conspiracy to kidnap and remains in police custody for questioning in Essex. Miss Kelly, for those, just in case you may come across her, she's described as being white, with green eyes, slim, and about 5'4". Detective Superintendent Lewis Basford said that he was extremely concerned for the welfare of Miss Kelly and her children, and officers believe Miss Kelly is being assisted, right, and has urged members of the public to call 999 immediately with any live sightings. And our last headline, I think this might be a bit of a trigger warning too, and this is a bit crazy, but this news happened in South Africa where apparently around 90 primary school children, right, were sent to hospital after eating muffins thought to be laced with cannabis.
The hell?
Yeah. Officials said that the pupils bought the muffins from a street vendor on the way to their school, the primary school, which is northwest of Pretoria. They experienced nausea, stomach pains, and vomiting, and 3 girls are still in hospital right now. 2 people have been arrested and face charges of attempted murder. The suspects, who were aged between 21 and 19, are going to be appearing before a magistrate's court today. This is according to what police are saying. And yeah, man, the education department said that teachers have called an ambulance, called an ambulance after noticing strange behaviour from children in class. It said that the incident had caused considerable distress to parents who were worried about their children's safety. Police, who are conducting a toxicology report to confirm if cannabis was used, say more than 90 pupils received the muffins and suffered serious pains. They were all sent to nearby medical facilities, and about 87 have been discharged, again, according to the education department. Only 3 of these children, who are all girls, remain in hospital, and they are still receiving the necessary medical attention to return to good health.
So wait, who is in court? The muffin seller?
Yeah, the suspect.
Why did he know he was into kids?
I'm not too sure. I don't know. Maybe not.
Because this is my... Anyway, never mind.
They just need to investigate the whole thing, yeah. But yeah, the suspects are aged 21 and 19. So yeah, man, sad. Thank God none of them too crazy. But yeah, that's it for the headlines. It's time to pay the bills.
All right, let's get into the reaction.
All right, guys, welcome to the reaction, Esther's favourite segment.
Yeah, right.
All right, so there was tons of Europa League action yesterday. Let's just quickly run through some of the important games. Brighton lost their first ever game in Europe, 3-2 to AEK Athens. West Ham beat Backa Topola 3-1. I think Mohamed Kudus as well scored his first goal for West Ham. Shout out to him. What else did we have? We had Liverpool beat Lens ASK 3-1 with goals from Nunez, Diaz, and Mohamed Salah. A game that caught my eye that I actually need to watch the highlights for was Marseille versus Ajax 3-3. Ex-Arsenal player Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang got 2 goals in that game as well. I'm going to check those out. Roma won 2-1 against Sharif. And those are probably the key ones. Brent, did you see any games yesterday?
Nah, I didn't.
No? And also, Another Premiership team was in action, Aston Villa. They were actually in the Europa Conference League and they lost 3-2 to Legia Warsaw. So yeah, Aston Villa lost, Brighton lost, Liverpool won, and West Ham won as well. Quick bit of Arsenal news. It's just been announced that Martin Odegaard signs a new 5-year contract at Arsenal. Yeah, so the captain signed until 2028. I saw it was reported. His wage increase or the particular stipulations of the contract haven't been announced, but yeah, Odegaard has signed new 5-year deal until 2028. Brent, you feeling good about that?
I am definitely. I was gonna tell you yesterday that Odegaard was man of match during that 4-0 win. And we are so bloody privileged to have him on our team, man.
No, he played well, man. Odegaard is dope. All right, cool. Let's move on from the football. All right. This is what I tag E-Man in. So, is it Zhang? Gile. Okay, cool. Gile Zhang versus Joyce 2. WBO interim heavyweight belt. Thoughts on that? Who wins?
Woman had 9 children, man.
Sorry, one second.
No worries.
Oh. All right. Yeah, that's a big fight, man.
Yeah.
Happening on Saturday. This is the rematch. Joyce lost to Gile Zhang, the first one. TKO.
Okay.
Basically, he just kept getting jabbed in his eye. Eyes swelled up, couldn't see out of it. They stopped the fight, essentially. But you know what the thing is, yeah? When I first came across Joyce some years back, I just thought to myself, this guy is not going to last because he doesn't move his head, right? And it seems like he's just willing to take several punches to give his punch, right? So he's a durable fighter, so he can take shots, right?
Yeah.
But I just didn't think that his method works. And when he was about to fight Daniel Dubois, I was like, Dubois is going to knock him out. Well, I was saying Dubois is going to win, I should say. And I said, if Joyce wins this, I will never doubt him again, right? So since then, I've never doubted him. And since then, he's won every fight, right? Except the one against Zhang. In that fight, that first fight, his performance to me was lackluster. He kept moving back in a straight line. Zhang was just hitting him at will. Every punch Zhang was fighting, was throwing, was hitting Joyce. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't know what he's going to do different in the second fight.
Yeah.
I really don't know what he's going to do. So if I had to put money on it, I would put my money on Zhang to win it, to win again, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I do want Joyce to win, to be honest.
How much weight does this fight hold? Sorry. In terms of... So you know when the first Crawford and Spence fight happened?
Yeah.
You told me that was one of the biggest fights
ever,
right? What's the narrative behind this one?
This one's not as huge as that. This one just allows that person to be in a better position to fight for an actual belt.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joyce definitely needs to win this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he can go on and hopefully challenge and call out one of the other guys. Because I think he wants to fight Usyk. He did fight Usyk in the amateurs, by the way.
Okay.
Was it in amateurs? Yeah, in the amateurs. Obviously he lost to Usyk. But still, it was still a good fight, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like he feels like he can beat Usyk. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting. But
all right. Keeping it unboxing, we got Conor Benn fights on the weekend. You put ridiculous as your sentiment there. Why is it ridiculous?
The reason why, is because, again, I just want to do a little disclaimer here. I'm a fan of Nigel Benn, innit?
Okay.
I'm a fan of Chris Eubank, right? The dads of these guys. And because of that, you kind of transfer some of that respect and love to their children, right?
Okay.
But when this whole thing came out with the clomiphene being found in his samples, right? And basically drug allegations being thrown about the place, I started to doubt him, right? And I'll be honest with you. And when people look at the situation, especially when you hear people like the Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn talking about it and making it seem as though he's been cleared, it gets more frustrating. Because like, as much as you want to even try and believe Conor Benn, when you've got somebody defending Conor Benn, lying, or at least, let me not say lying, but kind of just giving you bits of the truth so that you guys can kind of feel as though, you know what, how he's being treated is not justified. Yeah. It becomes frustrating. It makes you think you're hiding something. Yeah. For those who don't know, let me just break it down quickly here. Conor Benn failed 2 tests. Okay. Right? And typically what happens is, when you like if we're testing you, for example, they will take that one pee sample, put it into essentially 2 different cups, do the 2 tests.
Yeah.
Right? Just in case something happens in the test, we've always got a sample B to actually test, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 2 different occasions, right? So the WBO, I believe it was, WBC, they had a clean boxing program, and they've tested him. He's failed that. Down the line, VADA's tested him. He's failed that. So it's 2 different occasions, right? WBC, they don't have strict liability. And that's a situation where it's like, regardless of whether the reason's good for why you failed the test, we're still going to penalize you, ban you, fine you. They don't have that. Cool. So he's failed that test. He's produced some long document, 250 pages, talking about all types of reasons why this is false. Your testing methods are not accurate, this, that, and the third. WBC are like, wait a minute, why are you attacking us?
Yeah.
Our methods are cool, relax, you know what I'm saying? But you know when someone's so confident that you start to believe what they're saying is true, WBC got to the point where it's like, cool, we're saying, we know our testing methods are cool. Yeah. What you're saying, we may believe you.
So what's Conor Benn's main defense against these allegations?
I'm going to get to that. Okay. So basically what happens is, he was just basically saying, well, the tests are just wrong, innit?
Okay.
WBC are basically saying the tests are not wrong. Maybe it's something you're eating. They looked into it and said, well, it looks like a lot of the eggs being produced in a particular area may have been laced with this particular drug. Okay. So you've potentially eaten a huge amount of eggs, and that's probably why you failed the test. Yeah. They're trying to help him out. Okay. He comes out and says, no, I ain't eat no eggs. I ain't eat eggs like this. He goes, I don't know.
So they're giving him a way out.
A way out.
He's saying no.
Yeah. But they still cleared him. Okay. So he's like, okay, cool. I'm taking the clearance. Yeah. I'm cool. Yeah. But I didn't eat the eggs. I'm like, cool, fine. That's the first test. Second test, VADA now, that was linked to the Eubank fight. Okay. That's the one we spoke about. Yeah. So he's failed that test. And then UCAD, which is the UK anti-doping, and the BBB of C, the British Boxing Board of Control, they are now saying, wait a minute, this fight that we sanctioned between you and Eubank, we're not going to allow it to actually happen anymore because it's happening on UK soil. He's saying, you can't do that. And they're saying, why? He's saying, because you guys didn't even take the test. VADA took the test. But they're like, wait a minute. It doesn't matter if VADA took the test. You failed a test. They found drugs in your system. We can't, like, in good conscience, allow you to fight Eubank in Britain. It doesn't make no sense. Suspending your license. We need to investigate. He's annoyed. His team obviously tried to go to an independent panel. Independent panel even rules in favor of Conor Benn. So he's thinking, cool, everything should be fine. British Board of Boxing Control say, no, we're not accepting this. We are appealing. Your license is still suspended. So he can't fight currently in the UK. What's happened is he's now fighting in Florida on Saturday. Okay. So in Florida, they've pretty much contacted UCAD and the British Board of Boxing Control, or British Boxing Board of Control, and said, is everything cool? They pretty much said, listen, he's failed the test. We're not happy with the results. Yeah. We're not giving him a new license. He hasn't applied for a new license. So as far as we're concerned, he's not fighting here, right? But Florida are fine with it. Obviously, it's a moneymaker. Yeah. So essentially, that's the reason why he's fighting on Saturday. Long story short. Okay. So he hasn't really been cleared. Okay. Eddie Hearn's made it seem as though he's been cleared. Okay. But technically, he hasn't been cleared. He hasn't even got a license in the UK. Okay. And do you know anything about his opponent? Nah. Apparently, he's a rugged, decent fighter. Okay. But everyone's expecting him to win, obviously. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Is Conor Benn one of the best in his weight class? I wouldn't say so. He was definitely an up-and-comer, though. Okay. I think he's fighting at, is it super welterweight? Yeah. Yeah, so 154. Okay. So he's not one of the best, but he was definitely one of the, you know what I mean, the prospects. And do you feel like some of the grace he's been given in regards to his allegations are because of who his dad is, or not? I don't think so. I think it's because of the powerhouse behind him, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, the promoters, basically. But to be honest with you, I don't think people are really giving him grace. I feel like a lot of the people who know about boxing and criticizing what goes on don't believe him. Okay. The fans don't mind because I think a lot of the time they're hearing information from people like Eddie Hearn, who's basically saying he's cleared, he's cool to fight, which is not entirely true. So he's not doing anything illegal. Yeah. He's just not choosing to fight in Britain because he can't.
Yeah. So you as a boxing fan, the egg story, do you believe in that, or do you believe he's been cheating, he's been taking drugs, or do you believe in some of these stipulations?
If I had to put money on it,
Yeah.
I believe it.
You believe him?
Yeah. No. If I had to put money on it, I believe he's been taking drugs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Like a lot of these boxers do. I think one time we spoke about this and Kevin mentioned that this is just the culture. Unfortunately, a lot of them dope during a particular time. They cycle and hopefully it just helps them during training. But obviously when you sign up to people like VADA, who's like pretty much one of the best anti-doping agencies in the world, they test you at any random time throughout the year.
Yeah.
So it's crazy why people sign up to this, but also still chance it. You know what I'm saying? Because literally they can come to your house right now or at bloody 11 p.m. at night.
Random testing.
Random.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a weird one.
All right, cool. Gonna keep it on boxing, man. Terence Crawford confirms weight for Errol Spence, Errol Spence Jr. rematch. Speaking to Travis Hartman, Bud Crawford said that he was aiming for a December fight to end this particular chapter of his career. He exercised his rematch clause, and that's the fight that's supposed to happen next. We shall see how negotiations go. We're supposed to fight in December, and it's back in training. So, what's your thoughts on the rematch? Obviously you're the resident boxing guy. What's your general feeling behind this fight?
If they do the rematch at 147, same is gonna happen.
Yeah.
It might even be worse.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If they do it at 154, Crawford's still gonna beat him, unfortunately. But it'll be a better fight. I don't think the fight needs to happen. I feel like the winner and better boxer is clear at this point in their careers.
Yeah.
However, like he's pretty much saying, Spence wants the rematch at 154.
Yeah.
Right? Because to be fair to him, he struggled to make 147 for a while.
Yeah.
He's a big guy, you know what I'm saying? And the rematch should happen at 154. Okay. However, everyone knows that Crawford has to accept it.
Yeah.
And since nothing was put in writing, he can say, no, I only want the rematch at 147.
Yeah.
People are basically saying they believe he's going to say no to 154 to make it at 147, not so that he can beat Spence again, but so that Spence turns it down, so that he can then potentially fight Canelo, which is a bigger fight. You know what I'm saying? That's what people think is the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think December's too soon? Anyway.
Not really. Like camp is like 8 weeks typically.
Okay.
So
I feel like rematches normally happen like a good year after the first one, though.
Sometimes, but sometimes that's because certain people are damaged. Certain people, you know what I mean? They don't want to fight straight away. They need to build up their confidence.
And how much do you think the actual weight and the weight class of the last fight had a say in how the fight turned out? And you think that it going in who won the last fight again? Crawford. It going in Spence's favour this time round would change things much.
It would change things because I think Spence will be better prepared. He'll look more fuller. He'll feel better.
Yeah.
And all of that type of stuff. But in terms of skill, I don't think he's going to have what it takes to beat Crawford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause I remember you saying he just didn't seem right.
He definitely didn't seem right. Yeah. And I think maybe a big part of that is because of the weight. But I also feel like mentally, for some reason, I don't know, he just didn't seem himself. He was doing things in that fight that he's never done before. He just seemed like he was an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
And Spence is a world-class boxer. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't seem right. However, I don't want to take anything away from Crawford. Crawford beat him fair and square and dominated every single round. Every single round. So really, is anything going to change? You know what I'm saying? So the weight class, again, may make the fight closer, but I'd give him more. Like, I mentioned one thing. Crawford said, I think in the second round, that Spence punched him and landed.
Yeah.
And he said, once he landed, right, and thought, wait a minute, that's a clean punch. And I don't really feel it. I'm not scared of this punch.
Yeah.
He knew the fight was done.
Okay.
He knew. And that's Spence at 147. So if Spence at 154, a better version of himself, fuller, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can land a proper blow, then obviously that will make Crawford respect his punching power a bit more.
Yeah.
But again, skills pay the bill, man. And Crawford's got the skills. He's got the IQ of a just an elite boxer.
Yeah. So what? So Spence had to go from 147 to 154.
That's what he wants to do.
That's what he wants to do.
But he's been 147 his entire career.
Yeah. That's quite a big jump.
No, that's just the next weight class up.
No, I mean in terms of just the actual weight itself. No?
No. It's like a lot of these guys who fight at 147 walk around everyday life at maybe, like Spence anyway, he might walk around at like 170 something.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's a naturally big guy.
Okay.
But when it comes to boxing at that weight class, he has to lose a lot of weight. So he's losing a lot of energy.
Okay, cool. Then in reverse, that's a lot of weight to lose then. If you're walking around at 170 all the time, then you got to fight and get down to 147. That's a big drop.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why you can't keep doing that your entire career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's got to the point where he's a grown man now. He's filled out his body. You can't keep going down to 147.
Yeah.
So he's been complaining about that.
Yeah.
Not complaining, but really kind of saying, look, I just want to get all these belts and then I'm moving up to 154. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, timing wasn't great and he lost it at the last hurdle.
All right. We'll see how this saga unfolds. But that's all we have for you for the reaction. Let's get into the outro.
All right, people. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you as we always do. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our social media platforms, The Day After TNB on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. If you'd like to inquire about the show or feature on the show, our email address is thedayafter@thenewblack.com. Brendan, if you could please have the poster up again. If you're interested in being a researcher for the show, contact Eman on his Instagram or via the email, which is emmanuel@thenewblack.com. Have a great weekend and goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.